In the Duo world, I starred bound to the traveling frog. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Huang. Yijia Village is a small village deep in the mountains outside Notting City. Although it was already early in the morning, there was a faint light in the thatched house at the foot of Yijia Village. Looking in from the window, I saw a child about 5 or 6 years old, supporting the ground with one hand, but his whole body kept changing postures in the air, doing all kinds of extreme actions that outsiders thought he could not complete at his age. His name is Huang. 6 years ago, when he was covering his teammates' retreat, he was surrounded by enemy forces, and eventually ran out of ammunition and food, and died under random gunfire. Unexpectedly, a wisp of residual soul directly traveled through time and space and came to Duo continent. Just when the original owner died, Huang's soul took the opportunity to possess this body. After an hour, Huang's clothes were soaked with sweat. He didn't care about the dust on the ground. He collapsed directly on the ground, gasping for air. This set of marrow-washing exercises made Huang suffer a lot. But when practicing, he did not dare to slack off. Huang has been different from other children since he was a child. When he was born, he suffered from an extremely strange disease, and his body would emit waves of destructive aura invisibly. It was because of this horrible destructive aura that Huang's current parents passed away when he was 3 years old. These destructive auras not only killed his relatives, but also caused considerable damage to Huang's own body. If he had not insisted on practicing this marrow-washing technique, he would have followed the footsteps of the original owner. People are afraid of death. Faced with this unknown fear, the villagers in the village moved out of Yijia Village one after another for fear of being harmed by this destructive aura. Now Huang is the only one left in the entire Yijia Village. When he went hunting in the forest yesterday, he heard from a distance that several hunters from neighboring villages were talking about the awakening of martial spirits. Tomorrow, the great soul master Su Yuntao from the Wuhan Hall will set up a point in the awakening hall of the evil god village, a neighboring village of Yijia Village, to help children aged 6 in several nearby scattered villages awaken their martial spirits. As a member of the nearby scattered villages, Huang did not receive any notification. In the eyes of outsiders, Yijia Village is an ominous place. Even vicious bandits have to take a detour, who would risk death to inform him. What's more, the villagers in the surrounding villages are eager for him to die soon. Although Huang is a little young, he is indeed a famous sharpshooter in the nearby hunter villages. Every time he hunts, he gets the most. Several vicious hunters have secretly followed and wanted to kill Huang, but these wild ways are no match for Huang, a professionally trained mercenary. After a few rounds, they died without even seeing Huang's shadow. Since then, no hunter in the nearby villages dared to challenge Huang's authority. Huang had also watched Duo continent in his previous life and knew that this was a magical world. Children at the age of 6 have the opportunity to awaken various magical martial spirits and become noble soul masters. Like all time travelers, he also got his own golden finger, a system called Traveling Frog. This system is just like the little game Huang played in his previous life, starting with a little frog. As long as this little frog is given a backpack, sufficient food, amulets and other equipment, it will travel to the heavens and the worlds. During the trip, the frog will take some pictures of tourist attractions and send them back, and even bring back some local specialties from local tourist attractions when it returns. The most important thing is that Huang can use these gifts directly in reality. Unlike the game, all the food of this frog needs to be made by Huang himself. In order to please this frog and get higher profits, Huang studied the chef recipes brought back by the frog over and over again. Now Huang's cooking level is so good that even the chef guide would be impressed. Chapter 2 My system is unreliable. Although this system is simple, the froglet name before death by Huang is a little unreliable. Huang never thought that except for the first year of binding the system, The froglet brought back a book of Zisui Jing and a cookbook for strengthening the body for fear that Huang would die and become a lonely system. In the next 5 years, he never came back, and even didn't send back a photo. Sometimes Huang even suspected that this froglet was too playful and starved himself to death on the way. Alas! Tomorrow I will awaken my martial spirit. It seems that I can't rely on this froglet. When Huang was sighing and lamenting that this froglet was not doing well, a pleasant reminder sound suddenly sounded in his mind, and a big frog in green clothes jumped into his field of vision. Ding dong! Your froglet before death is back from his trip. Ding dong! Your froglet before death visited Qian Renxu's bathroom and took a picture of a beautiful woman bathing for you. Excuse me, master, do you want to receive it or put it in the warehouse? Your kid brought back a piece of exquisite lace from Qian Renxu's dressing room before he died. The location has been marked. Please tell me, master, do you want to receive it or put it in the warehouse? Put it in the warehouse. Put it all in the warehouse. Hearing the prompt sound from the system, Huang gritted his teeth in anger. If it were in his previous life, hearing these two system prompt sounds, Huang would definitely be overjoyed. But now he is still a child, and there is no place for heroes to use their skills. He was already full of joy, but now his expectation has fallen to the bottom. That's it. What the hell is this broken system? What I need most now is something to enhance my strength, not these messy things. You are unkind, and I am unjust. This time I must starve this frog baby and let it know who is the sponsor. Huang looked at the harmless frog baby in front of him with ill intentions. It is not his style to let a broken system lead him by the nose. Perhaps sensing Huang's inner thoughts, the frog boy's face actually showed a trace of anthropomorphic panic. The system then sent another message. Ding dong! Your frog boy before dying peeked at Qian Renxu's picture of a beautiful woman bathing, and was full of strength, and personally made a mysterious scroll for you. Excuse me, master, do you want to accept it or put it in the warehouse? Damn, this frog boy actually knows how to hide it. Huang glared at the frog boy fiercely. Accept it, receive it immediately. Fearing that the frog boy would regret it, Huang hurriedly replied. As soon as the voice fell, a scroll with complicated patterns and simple shapes appeared in Huang's palm. At the same time, the information about this scroll also appeared in Huang's mind out of thin air. The scroll made by the frog boy before his death can gain the spiritual pressure of the extreme duo after use, which can show the effect of showing one's godliness in front of others. Pay special attention. It can be used for 1 second per day when the soul power is below level 10. The use time increases by 1 second for every 10 levels of soul power. Master, would you like to use it immediately? Yes, use it immediately. For such a life-saving weapon, of course. The sooner you learn it, the better. Who can predict what will happen in the next second? After receiving the order, the scroll in Huang's hand turned into a puff of green smoke and disappeared in front of him. However, there was a mysterious little seed in his sea of consciousness. Now, as long as Huang has a thought, he can exert the spiritual pressure of the extreme duo at any time. With this life-saving secret skill, Huang, in a good mood, immediately took out the pork belly he had just bought today and decided to make a specialty dish for his hard-working frog boy. Half an hour later, a bowl of brightly colored, crispy, soft and glutinous braised pork that melted in the mouth was snatched away by the frog boy. Even the soup on the plate was wiped clean by its flexible tongue. Ding dong! Your frog boy before dying started traveling again. The return date is uncertain, so don't worry. Seeing the frog boy, holding the dagger he made himself, wearing the bamboo hat he wove himself, and wearing the red cape and red pants he sewed himself, walking out the door swayingly, Huang breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 3 Awakening. After breakfast, Huang got up and walked slowly towards the awakening hall of the evil god village. He just silently calculated in his mind that there were about 30 or 40 children who came to the evil god village to awaken this time. The villagers in the villages near the evil god village must have lined up there with their children early. Instead of standing there and waiting, it is better to wait until there are fewer people. Although he had estimated the time required for the children to awaken, he still misjudged the time concept of these soul masters. It was clearly agreed that the awakening would start at 8 o'clock, but when Huang arrived at the evil god village at 9 o'clock, he still did not find the figure of the awakening soul master. Huang saw that there were many people standing at the door of the awakening hall, talking about topics related to awakening. He did not go forward to join in the fun, but found a shade far away and sat down. He knew his physical condition and did not want to offend others. At 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 late figures appeared at the door of the awakening hall of the evil god village. Only one of the 3 people was wearing the clothes of the spirit hall. Seeing the arrival of the 3 people, the already chaotic crowd also lined up in an orderly manner under the command of their respective village chiefs. This is related to the future of their children. Even if they are troublemakers, they don't have the courage to come out and make trouble at this time. Hello everyone, I am Liu Tao, the spirit recorder of the Notting City Spirit Hall branch, responsible for issuing certificates for the awakened children. The great spirit master Su Yun Tao, who came to awaken everyone today, can't come because of an urgent task. In order not to delay the awakening time of the children, the spirit hall specially spent a lot of money to invite the dean of Notting City Junior College, the 42nd level spirit master Duo, to awaken the spirits for everyone. The parents at the scene were a little disappointed when they heard that Su Yun Tao could not come to awaken the children. But Liu Tao's next words made the parents present happy. There were bursts of cheers at the scene, and the warm applause lasted for a long time. For these villagers, Su Yun Tao, who has no name, is obviously not as famous as the dean of Notting Junior College. Unlike other villagers, Huang frowned when he heard that Su Yun Tao would not come to awaken. Without the awakening ceremony of the blind god king, Huang felt as if something was missing, and a sense of tension rose in his heart for no reason. Seeing how enthusiastic these villagers were, the short old man Duo among the 3 came out and nodded slightly to everyone. As a strong man at the level of Soul Sect, Duo is also a well-known figure in this Notting City, and he would not easily make a move. However, in recent years, the number of students in Notting Junior College is too small, and the annual competition in Fino's province is suppressed by other brother schools. With fewer students and poor grades, the funding from the empire must have been much less, which seriously affected Duo's noble life. Taking advantage of this time, the master of the Notting City branch of the Wuhan Hall spent a lot of money to invite him to help. Under the instigation of his good friend Yiang and driven by money, he reluctantly agreed to come to this remote place to help the child awaken. In fact, he also had some selfish thoughts in his heart. He wanted to take advantage of the opportunity of awakening to see if he could attract some good seedlings for Notting Junior College. This is my good friend, who is a master in martial arts research. If the children who have successfully awakened have any questions, they can talk to him. As the protagonist of today, Duo did not want to be overshadowed by others. He just mentioned it briefly and obviously did not want to introduce the thoughts of his good friend in detail. Although Duo did not introduce the middle-aged man next to him, who was wearing a shabby black shirt, had a short haircut and was unkempt, Huang still recognized this guy as Yiang at a glance. The villagers who came to the evil god village to awaken had never seen the world. This soul sect and master had already fooled these villagers into a daze, and they could not tell the east, west, south and north. Looking at the villagers in front of him who were looking at him with admiration, Duo's heart was already blooming with joy. Let's start now. Everyone line up and come in one by one to awaken. Seeing that he had achieved the effect he wanted, Duo waved his hand and walked into the awakening hall with the support of everyone. He didn't want to waste time. He thought that after all the children in this awakening point were awakened, he would go to other awakening points to trick a few more children who had successfully awakened into joining the Notting City Junior Soul Master Academy. Huang, who was under the shade of the tree, had long seen through the tricks of the two. Duo asked Yiang to stand outside, under the pretext of helping the newly awakened soul masters solve problems, but in fact, he asked him to trick the awakened soul masters to Notting Junior College. As for Yiang, who was willing to stand outside the door, He also had his own little thoughts. He needed to find an outstanding disciple to decorate his identity as a master of theory. In Duo continent, powerful soul masters all have their own sects. They all know what kind of person Yu Gang is. And of course they will not listen to his nonsense. In desperation, Yu Gang could only follow Peiduosi here to try his luck. Peiduosi walked into the awakening hall, took the blue crystal ball and 6 black stones from Liu Tao, and began to get busy. These awakening equipments were all provided by the spirit hall. After awakening, the spirit hall would take them back. At the beginning, Peiduosi worked very hard. He also comforted the children who failed to awaken, but as time went by, the spirits awakened by these children were either sickles, hoes, weeds, or small flowers. Several children finally awakened tools that could be used as spirits, but no spirit power was detected during the initial spirit power test. Gradually, Peiduosi became impatient, and the words of comfort at the beginning were no longer in his mouth. If he had not signed a contract with the spirit hall, he would have left long ago, and he would not have done such a thankless task. In August, the sun was scorching. Peiduosi, who awakened in the house, was better off. At least there was a roof to shade him. On the other hand, Yu Gang, who was standing under the scorching sun, had a dark face at this moment. There were only 3 or 2 children left at the scene. After more than 30 children were awakened, nothing was achieved. Both Peiduosi and Yu Gang were extremely upset. Most of the children at the scene had already awakened, but the villagers present had no intention of leaving the awakening hall. They were all whispering in their place, discussing whether any of the remaining children could become the lucky one today. Seeing the last child walk out of the awakening hall with his head down and his breath dispersed, Huang also stood up, patted the dust off his body and walked towards the awakening hall. Huang is coming, everyone run. Seeing Huang stand up and walk over, someone shouted. The villagers who had gathered together and talked loudly changed their expressions, and they all dispersed and ran to a place dozens of meters away from the awakening hall. A villager who was standing there and didn't know the inside story was also pulled aside by an enthusiastic man in black. Chapter 4 Yu Gang wants to take me as his apprentice. Why are you pulling me? My child hasn't awakened yet. This guy was obviously dissatisfied with the black-clothed man pulling him aside. Stopping his child from awakening is like killing his parents. If it weren't for the fact that the black-clothed man was so burly, he would have definitely taken action directly. You fool! Huang is here, and you still dare to approach him. What is more important, your child's awakening or your life? Brother, I just moved here and don't know the inside story. Please give me more advice. The guy's name is Huang. He is an ominous person. Anyone who has had contact with him will not live for more than 3 years. Seeing that the guy he pulled back was so humble and asked for advice, the black-clothed man showed off the rumors he had heard. Brother, how can there be such a weird thing? The villager who didn't know the truth obviously didn't believe what the black-clothed man said. How can you be so ungrateful? Didn't you see that the grass on the ground under the shade of the tree where he just stayed has begun to wither? Huang didn't care about these discussions at all. He was used to being pointed at in front of him. The fact was that he had no way to avoid it. Of course, there was another person present who didn't care, and that person was Yu Gang. When the crowd dispersed just now, he was still very curious, thinking that some great person had come. But when he heard the rumors about Huang from the people around him becoming more and more absurd, he turned his head and stopped paying attention. He was from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family and had a legitimate aristocratic status. He looked down on these villagers from the bottom of his heart. Now seeing these people making up stories here and classifying them as fools, the contempt on his face became even more serious. He was too conceited. If he continued to listen to the words of the big man in black and observed the changes in the grass under the tree, he would not have been bedridden for a month after leaving here. Seeing the child who had walked into the awakening hall before, being dragged away by his parents as if he had encountered a snake or scorpion and hurriedly fled from his side, Huang walked into the awakening hall without any sadness or joy. Stand in. Peiduosi's patience had reached its limit. He had already thought of a reason in his mind. As long as Huang's martial spirit was not good, he would directly let Huang go. Huang walked into the middle of the hexagonal star. Before he could stand, Duo waved his hand, and 6 rays of light flew out of his hand and fell on 6 stones. Boom! These black stones burst into dazzling golden light as if they were ignited. A steady stream of golden light poured out from the black stones and penetrated into Huang's body. As the golden light spots penetrated, Huang felt a heart-wrenching pain in his body. When his body was about to be unable to withstand the invasion of the golden light spots, a domineering purple energy suddenly rushed out, guiding the golden light spots, washing and expanding his internal organs and meridians. All the injuries suffered by the body over the years were restored to their original state under the treatment of the golden light spot, and the destructive aura that had been constantly escaping from the body to the outside of the body also disappeared without a trace. Damn it, is this guy's martial spirit himself? Looking at Huang, who was wrapped in golden light like a cocoon, Duo, who claimed to be a noble, cursed directly. Time passed by minute, and suddenly the golden light on Huang's body shrank rapidly, and turned into 2 golden light dragons in his body. One carried the purple energy and rushed towards Huang's left hand, and the other rushed towards his right hand. Boom! Feeling the violent impact of the 2 golden dragons in his body, Huang subconsciously opened his right hand. Suddenly, a big, purple chrysanthemum appeared in the palm of Huang's hand. Everyone looked at the chrysanthemum, and did not notice the purple light that suddenly flashed in Huang's left hand. With such a large formation, only a broken chrysanthemum was awakened. The glimmer of hope in Duo's heart was directly extinguished, and his mood fell from heaven to hell. Chrysanthemum, useless martial spirit. Duo obviously had never seen this martial spirit, and he directly sentenced it to death as an ordinary chrysanthemum. But as soon as he finished speaking, 2 excited voices rang out from inside and outside the house at the same time. You know nothing, you know nothing. The 2 people who spoke were the recorder of the spirit hall, Yu Tao, and Yu Gang, who had walked in and stared at the chrysanthemum with a dazed look. This is the Qirong Tangshan chrysanthemum. As the martial spirit of the spirit hall, Elder Duo, Liu Tao and Yu Gang had both seen relevant records in the materials of the spirit hall. When Duo learned from Yu Gang that this martial spirit was the same as the martial spirit of the elder of the spirit hall, a layer of fine beads of sweat instantly seeped out of his head, in front of the officials of the spirit hall, saying that their elder's martial spirit was a useless martial spirit was really like an old man eating arsenic and complaining that he had lived too long. Yu Tao obviously didn't notice Duo's look. He was now eager to know what Huang's soul power level was. Yu Gang had the same idea as Liu Tao. He had already handed the blue crystal ball to Huang. Little friend, put your hand on it quickly and see how much soul power you have, Yu Gang said to Huang in a tone that he thought was the most gentle. Huang was also looking forward to his soul power, and he directly placed his right hand on the crystal ball held by Yu Gang. In an instant, a dazzling blue light burst out from the blue crystal ball. The whole room was filled with this dazzling blue light. Ah, it's actually full innate soul power. The 3 people present couldn't help but shout, looking at Huang with hot eyes. You too, the matter is serious. I will report back to the spirit hall first. Yu Tao was the first to react. Without waiting for the 2 to reply, he walked out directly, rode on the fast horse at the entrance of the village and galloped towards the spirit hall branch. Such geniuses are the objects that all forces strive to win. It won't be long before all forces will come uninvited. The only thing he could do now was to report this news to the master of the Notting City branch hall as soon as possible. If he wasted time and was beaten to it by other forces, the master would have to peel off his skin. When Liu Tao left, Yu Gang also came to his senses. Top-level martial spirit, innate full spirit power. As long as he doesn't die, he will definitely be a titled Buo in the future. If I can accept this child as my disciple. Little friend, what's your name? My name is Huang. Have your family come? My parents passed away, and I'm the only one at home. Yu Gang was like a wolf grandmother trying to figure out Huang's life experience. But it was a pity that Huang was not Little Red Riding Hood. Huang had seen through Yu Gang's tricks a long time ago, but he didn't expose it because he wanted to see what kind of person Yu Gang was. Great, I'll save a lot of trouble. Hearing that Huang was an orphan, Yu Gang's heart was already blooming with joy, but his face pretended to be compassionate. Chapter 5, Beating Yu Gang. Poor kid, I'm Yu Gang. If you're willing to be my disciple, I can give you a warm home. Time was running out. Taking advantage of the absence of the spirit hall, Yu Gang played the emotional card. I know, you're the expert Yu Gang. Many people in our hometown know you. Expert? What does that mean? Yu Gang looked at Huang with a puzzled look on his face. It was the first time he heard such a new word. Oh, expert is just a trendy guy, a great scholar, or something else in the village. It's a respectful title for some powerful scholars in our hometown, Huang said perfunctorily. Well, the word Kauba is good, it's very generous. Yu Gang thought to himself. He didn't know that the word Kauba in Huang's mouth and the word Kauba in his mouth were two completely different words. Hearing Huang use the most noble words in his hometown to express his respect for him, Yu Gang's confidence in recruiting Huang to his school increased a little more. Don't worry, as long as you worship me as your master, with my talent as the first master of theory in the continent, I will definitely train you into a powerful titled duel. Yu Gang immediately made a big promise for Huang. Yu Gang wishfully thought that he could easily handle this child who had never seen the world. He even stood up straight, ready to accept Huang's kneeling. Haha, this guy is really a hypocrite, as everyone said. Obviously he is attracted by my qualifications, but he can't stop talking about his theoretical knowledge. As if I can't become a titled duo without his theoretical knowledge. Looking at Yu Gang, who was acting like a hermit, Huang was speechless. I don't want to. Why? Yu Gang was caught off guard by Huang's rejection. No reason, I just don't want to worship you as my master. For this hypocritical guy, since he has seen his true face, Huang doesn't intend to waste words with him. HMPH, boy. Are you just making fun of me with what you said just now? With my talent, am I not qualified to teach a country bumpkin like you? Huang's refusal directly angered Yu Gang. The smile on his face disappeared instantly, replaced by a vicious expression. Country bumpkin, I didn't expect that you would show your true colors just after I rejected this old guy. If you don't agree, don't say anything. Boy, don't even think about leaving the store if you don't make it clear today. Seeing Huang turning around and walking towards the exit of the awakening hall, Yu Gang took a leap to the door and stretched out his hands to block Huang's way. You are so shameless. Yu Gang's entanglement had already made Huang lose his patience. Haha, I wanted to save your face, but you insisted on making me slap you in the face. What qualifications do you have to be my master? Huang, can you provide me with good training resources? Or help me hunt for 10,000-year spirit rings? Or can you get me good spirit bones? Huang's series of questions made Yu Gang not know how to answer. He couldn't do any of what Huang said. I am the #1 theoretical trending Luo continent, the creator of the 10 core theories. Theory is invincible. Yu Gang, who was speechless, directly used the high-sounding words he had just learned from Huang. Haha. Can your self-righteous theory be compared with the 10,000 years of heritage of the Spirit Hall? Besides, where did your theory come from? Don't you have any idea? As for your so-called 10 core theories, haha, that's a joke, half common sense and half bullshit. With my qualifications, Huang, joining the Spirit Hall can not only gain powerful theoretical knowledge, but also obtain rich training resources, and have beautiful women accompany me. Isn't it better than following a downtrodden old man like you? Huang's words were heartbreaking, directly criticizing Yu Gang to pieces. You are unreasonable, kid. You dare to humiliate a noble. Today, if you want to get out of this door, there are only two ways to go. Either kneel down and kowtow to confess your guilt and beg me to accept you as my apprentice, or you knock me down now and walk over my body. Yu Gang was already angry and embarrassed. If he let Huang go like this, where would his face be? Since he failed to accept a disciple, he had to get his face back. He was ready to use force to save his face. Humphrey, you want to keep me here, but you're not even close to the mark with your little piglet. Since you want me to walk over your body, I'll do it for you. Huang, who was furious, no longer held back and directly used the spiritual secret technique that frog gave him to show his power in front of others. Boom! A terrifying spiritual pressure swept over Duosi and Yu Gang. Although it was only a short moment, Yu Gang, whose soul power was slightly weaker, was already pressed to the ground by this pressure. Of course, at the moment when Yu Gang fell, Huang also met the request he had just fought for and walked over his body openly. This is the pressure of a titled duel. Yu Gang's face showed a look of fear. He never expected that Huang would be followed by a titled boss. If he had known earlier, he would not have dared to stop him even if he had 100 guts. Although the spiritual pressure only swept over, it directly shocked Yu Gang and Duosi. Fearing revenge from the titled boss behind Huang, the two ignored the strange looks from the villagers outside, got up in a hurry, endured the pain in their bodies, supported each other and left the evil god village. Huang didn't care about Yu Gang's other ideas at all. After returning home, Huang didn't stay at home for long. He turned around and carried a big bow on his back and went into the mountains behind Yijia village. He now wants to find a place where no one is around to calm down and think about how to go in the future. In this Duo continent where human life is as cheap as a dog, even if you are a genius, don't think about growing up without a strong backer. Geniuses who don't grow up are not as good as ordinary people without soul power. At least they can live a plain life. Before Huang figured out which forest to join, he was not going to leave this big forest. With the qualifications that Huang showed now, he is indeed qualified to let the major forces wait. Moreover, he also wants those major forces to screen out some small sects that fish in troubled waters, so that he can offend fewer people. The next morning, Huang walked down the mountain slowly, carrying a fresh yellow sheep on his back and holding a grasshopper made of green grass in his hand. There are only a few powerful forces in this Duo continent. The Hashan sect, one of the top 3 sects, has withdrawn from the world and become a turtle. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, a genius fault, and the first beast spirit of the Duo continent, all rely on the old dragon alone. As for the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, although it has a tendency to become the first sect in the continent in recent years, as a supporting sect, it will not develop much in the future. Only the Spirit Hall has strong strength and does not discriminate against civilians. Moreover, what Huang urgently needs now, only Pope Bibidong has in the entire Duo continent. After several comparisons, Huang has decided to join the Spirit Hall. As for Tang San's destruction of the Spirit Hall in the future, Huang doesn't care at all. With him, what else can Tang San do? Chapter 6 Ning Fengzi arrives. From a distance, Huang saw 2 groups of people standing in front of his thatched house. Judging from their positions, the 2 groups of people obviously did not belong to the same faction. As Huang walked down the mountain, he carefully observed the 2 forces that remained. The group of soul masters on the left, all wearing the uniforms of the Spirit Hall, were guarding a man with golden hair, soft armor, about 50 or 60 years old, and a feminine face. This man was none other than the elder of the Spirit Hall, Chrysanthemum Duo Yuguan. Chrysanthemum and Ghost have always been inseparable, so Ghost Duo Guimai should been nearby. Seeing Chrysanthemum Duo Yuguan, Huang was still very surprised. He thought that the Spirit Hall would at most send a bishop-level official to recruit him, but he didn't expect that Yuguan would come in person. The group on the right was obviously much smaller than the Spirit Hall in terms of number, with only 4 people. An elegant man wearing a 7-treasure golden crown and holding a 7-treasure cane, holding the hand of a girl who was about the same age as him, wearing a green dress, and was eccentric. Behind the man followed 2 old men, one with a huge frame and the other with a sword spirit. Although there were fewer people, their aura was much stronger than that of the group of people in the Spirit Hall. These 4 people were the leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect, Ning Fengzi, Sword Duo Chenxin and Bone Duo Gurong, and the girl was Ning Rong who followed them out to watch the fun. Report to Elder Yu, the child who awakened the Qirong Tongshan Chrysanthemum and had innate full soul power is back. Seeing Huang's figure appear on the mountain road, Yu Tao, who had met Huang once, said to Chrysanthemum Duo happily. What everyone didn't expect was that when Liu Tao recognized the person as Huang, what Yu Guan did next surprised everyone present. He suddenly stood up, left the crowd, and actually went straight to Huang. As he walked, he said loudly, "Good disciple, you are back. Your master has been waiting here all night." Seeing Ju Duo's actions, even the ghost Duo hiding nearby couldn't stand it anymore and appeared next to Yu Guan to remind him. "Old Chrysanthemum, you must be reserved." "What's the point of being reserved? I finally found a little guy who can inherit my mantle. If I don't take action now, it will be my turn when this little guy arrives in Wuhan City," Ju Duo said, and his footsteps speeded up a bit. Seeing Yu Guan walking towards him, Huang was still very moved. A dignified titled Duo could actually put down his status for a child. This made Huang feel respected for the first time in this alien world, unlike Gang who gave him the feeling of charity. Thinking of this, Huang hurriedly trotted a few steps and greeted him. "Senior, please stop. You are coming to greet me like this, which will shorten my life." Respect is mutual, and he certainly won't let Yu Guan come happily and return embarrassed. Huang's performance at this time was seen by everyone, and even Ning Fengzi couldn't help but nod secretly. This child is not arrogant and understands human nature. He will definitely have a place in the team of titled Duo in the Duo continent in the future. If he can be recruited into the sect, the strength of our 7 treasures glazed tile sect will be greatly enhanced in a few decades. When Ning Fengzi was sighing in a low voice, Yu Guan and Huang had already come to the front of everyone hand in hand. "I went to the mountains to hunt and came late. I have kept you elders waiting for a long time." Huang came over and went directly to Ning Fengzi, respectfully performing a junior salute. "Don't blame yourself, my friend, we just got here too." Seeing Huang saluting to him, Ning Fengzi hurriedly stood up and supported Huang who was bowing. "Wait for me to roast a whole lamb to make amends to all the seniors." "Elder Yu, please come and help me. I can't handle it alone." Huang's next words once again refreshed the cognition of the spirit masters in the spirit hall, and they were all worried for Huang. Huang was the only one who dared to order the elders of the spirit hall like this. On the other hand, Ning Fengzi heard Huang's words, and a trace of sadness flashed in his eyes, and then he regained his indifferent look. "There is no need to eat to make amends. I was just passing by here. I heard that there was a genius with full spirit power like you. My daughter was curious for a while, crying and shouting and insisted on rushing over to see it. It's still our abruptness to come. Since I have seen everyone, I should go back. There are still many things waiting to be dealt with in the sect. When you travel around the continent in the future, you can come to Qibao City to visit when you have time." Ning Fengzi stood up and politely declined Huang's hospitality. He said hello to the 2 Duoju and Gui, and turned and left. After Ning Fengzi and the others left Yijia village, Bone Duo could no longer hold back. "Fengzi, what's wrong with you? Didn't you say you were going to recruit that kid into our 7 treasures glazed tile sect? You brought our little princess with you. Why did you leave without saying anything?" Although they usually loved the little princess very much, they would be very satisfied if they could find a grandson-in-law like Huang today. Hearing Bone Yuo's complaints, Ning Fengzi showed a bitter smile on his face. "You old bones are really stubborn." Although the kid didn't say it clearly, didn't you see that he asked the chrysanthemum to help him? What does recruiting him into the 7 treasures glazed tile sect have to do with this? Bone Duo obviously didn't understand the mystery. "Of course it's related." He asked Ju Duo to help him, which shows that he doesn't regard Ju Duo as an outsider in his heart. The reason why this kid didn't say it is because he was afraid that we would lose face in front of the spirit hall. What a pity. If he was willing to come to the 7 treasures glazed tile sect, I would really be willing to help. Ning Fengzi sighed and glanced at Ning Rong beside him without saying anything else. Although Ning Fengzi didn't say everything, the 2 titled Luo's Jian Gu still understood what he was thinking. "Since this kid doesn't want to join our 7 treasures glazed tile sect, why didn't you say it earlier?" "If I had said it earlier, I would have taken the initiative and went up to kill him directly. With the combination of me and the little sword man, the 2 guys Ju Gui are no match at all. and we can also avoid adding a potential threat to us in a few decades. The development speed of the Spirit Hall in the past 2 years has been too fast, making the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect feel greatly threatened. Uncle Gu, that kid is very cunning. He invited us to eat roasted whole lamb just to show weakness in disguise. If we continue to be aggressive, it will be inconsistent with the purpose of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect. Besides, I felt a breath from this kid that made my heart palpitate. I can't say what it is, but it's very weird. If we really fight, it's hard to say who will win. After hearing Ning Fengzi's words, Jian Gu and the other two titled Luo said nothing more. The Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect is famous for appraising treasures, because the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Tower martial spirit can sense the divinity of treasures. Since Ning Fengzi felt a threat from him, it must be true. Chapter 7 Returning to Wuhan City. The first appearance of dual martial spirits. Yu Guan watched Ning Fengzi leave Yijia village. After hearing with his own ears that Yi Huang was willing to join the Spirit Hall, he also hurriedly left Yijia village with him and headed for the Spirit City. If he was late, something might happen. He didn't want to see the genius he had obtained being snatched away by other forces. It took more than half a month to get from Notting City to the Spirit City. In order to prevent Yi Huang's body from being unable to withstand the long journey, Yu Guan went to the Spirit Hall of the city to requisition the best and most comfortable carriage every time he arrived at a city. Along the way, Yu Guan and Gui Mai carefully told Yi Huang about the knowledge of the spirit. Although Yi Huang only agreed to join the Spirit Hall and did not say that he would become Yu Guan's apprentice, Yu Guan and Gui Mai did not alienate him because of this. Along the way, they treated him as their junior. Although Yi Huang had read Buo Continent in his previous life, he found that his theoretical knowledge was still far behind when it came to practice. Along the way, Yi Huang tirelessly absorbed the knowledge taught by Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Yi Huang was willing to learn, and Yu Guan and Gui Mai also taught him everything they knew. Happy days always pass quickly. After more than 10 days of travel, on a sunny afternoon, the carriage that Yi Huang was riding finally stopped steadily outside Wuhan City. Looking at the huge city gate, thick city walls and powerful soul masters who were constantly patrolling on the city tower, Yi Huang was also very shocked. Okay, kid, we have arrived at Wuhan City. This will be your home from now on. Yu Guan patted Yi Huang's head gently and took him to the city gate. Stay, please show your pass. Yu Guan, Gui Mai and Yi Huang were stopped by the guards who were guarding the city gate. As soon as they arrived at the city gate, Yu Guan and Gui Mai did not show any displeasure on their faces for the guards' reaction. They naturally took out a dark token from their soul guides and showed it to the guards at the door. Welcome Elder Yu and Elder Gui to return to Wuhan City. The guards guarding the door completed the verification, saluted, and hurriedly let them go. The guards at the city gate knew Yu Guan and Gui Mai, but they did not treat them specially because of their identities, but treated them the same as other soul masters. Seeing this, Yi Huang was full of expectations for his life after joining the Spirit Hall. After entering the city gate, Gui Mai left first. Yu Guan did not take Yi Huang directly to the Pope's palace, but took him to his residence first and gave Yi Huang a hot bath. He was only concerned with hurrying along the way, and got dirty. He did not want Yi Huang, this little guy, to leave a bad impression in the heart of His Holiness the Pope. What a handsome young man. Not long after, Yi Huang walked out from inside, wearing the new clothes that Gui Mai had just bought from the clothing store. It is true that clothes make the man, and gold clothes make the Buddha. Yi Huang standing in front of them gave Yu Guan and Gui Mai a bright feeling. With his delicate temperament, resolute eyes and enchanting cultivation talent, I wonder how many girls he will charm when he grows up. Zhu and Gui sighed as they took Yi Huang's hand, walked out of their residence and headed towards the Pope's palace. The Pope's palace and the Elder's palace are not far apart. It didn't take long for the three of them to reach the Pope's palace. From a distance, the guards standing at the door saw Yu Guan and Gui Mai coming over, and hurried forward to salute. Greetings, Elder Yu, Elder Gui. His Majesty has already ordered that as long as you two come, you can go directly into the palace and wait. Yes, thank you all, Yu Guan replied, and took Yi Huang into the Pope's palace. While Pope Bibidong had not arrived yet, Huang carefully observed everything in the Pope's palace. Dong, 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 rhythmic sounds came one after another. Huang looked up and saw Bibi Dong, wearing a rose gold robe, a golden crown and holding a scepter, walking in from the side door next to the Pope's chair. Greetings to His Holiness the Pope. Seeing Bibi Dong walk in, Guan and Gui Mai hurriedly bowed and saluted. Greetings to His Holiness the Pope. Huang also followed Guan and Gui Mai's example and bowed his waist. To elders, no need to be polite. You have worked hard on this trip. Thank you, Your Majesty. It is my duty to share your worries. Are you the child who has awakened full soul power? Bibi Dong looked at the child standing next to Duo Guan and saluted her, and asked curiously, Your Majesty, the boy is Huang. Yes, yes, you don't need to be polite too. Thank you, Your Majesty. Huang straightened up after hearing Bibi Dong's words, and stood there straight, waiting for Bibi Dong's questions. Good, good, you are indeed a rare talent. Huang's calm response made Bibi Dong's favorable impression of him rise sharply. Entering the spirit hall, even bishop-level figures were cautious, and the calmness shown by Huang at this time was already better than most soul masters at the soul master level. Child, come to me quickly, let me take a good look at you. Bibi Dong waved to Huang with a smile on her face. The more Bibi Dong looked at the child in front of her, the more she liked him. If it weren't for the fact that the spirit awakened by this child was the Qirong Tong Shanju, Bibi Dong had already promised Guan that she would accept him as her last disciple. Hearing Bibi Dong calling him, Huang walked over without any shyness. Hello, Sister Pope, what's the matter with you? Sister Pope, haha, I'm not a sister anymore, I'm already an old lady, how can I still be a sister? Bibi Dong was directly amused by Huang's innocent words. Looking at Bibi Dong who was smiling glamorously, Huang then made another magical finishing move. Sister is so beautiful. When I grow up, I must marry a wife as beautiful as sister. After all, he is still a 6-year-old child, and children speak without restraint. But seeing Huang's solemn promise, Bibi Dong laughed even harder. Guan and Gui Mai, who were in the audience, were shocked to hear Huang's words. They taught Huang all the rules, but forgot to tell him that he must be careful in front of His Holiness the Pope. Seeing that Bibi Dong was not angry because of Huang's nonsense, but looked happy, Guan and Gui Mai's 2 hearts that were raised high slowly let go. Well, sister believes that with your qualifications, you will definitely marry a wife who is more beautiful than sister when you grow up. Now, can you show your martial spirit to sister? Of course. Do you want to see the left hand or the right hand? You kid, His Holiness the Pope asked you to show your martial spirit, not to see your left hand or right hand. Guan, who was in the audience, hurriedly reminded. He didn't understand why the smart child who had been smart all the way became stupid at this time. I know it's about looking at the martial spirit. I want to ask you if you want to see the martial spirit of your left hand or the martial spirit of your right hand. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Purple Brilliance destroys the Heavenly Dragon. What did you say? Say it again. Bibi Dong's body trembled, and she stood up excitedly, staring at Huang in front of her. From her trembling voice, one could hear that she was restless. Not only Bibi Dong, but also Guan and Gui Mai in the audience were stunned by this sudden scene. Left hand, right hand. Could it be? Looking at Bibi Dong, Guan and Gui Mai's loss of composure, although Huang looked innocent on the surface, he was actually very happy in his heart. Child, can you summon these 2 martial spirits for me to see? Bibi Dong asked Huang excitedly. She once sighed secretly that her research results were useless, but she didn't expect Guan to bring her back a big surprise after going out. How could she not be excited? Of course, as long as sister wants to see it, I will show it to you. As he said that, Huang stepped back a few steps, stretched out his hand, and prepared to summon the martial spirit. Wait a minute. Bibi Dong seemed to have thought of something. She waved her left hand, and a huge gray energy burst out from her body, quickly forming a gray semicircular light shield, covering the entire Pope's palace. "This is my domain. For your safety, I must block all external prying." "Child, you can start summoning martial souls now." After receiving Bibi Dong's signal, Huang's mind moved, and a strange chrysanthemum appeared in his outstretched right hand. "Okay, kid, summon another martial soul, let us see." Huang took back the strange chrysanthemum martial soul as he was told, and stretched out his left hand again. What kind of martial soul was hidden in this left hand? Huang himself didn't know. When he awakened, he felt that there was a martial soul in his left hand. Huang, who had always been cautious, didn't tell anyone about this news, and even he himself didn't know what kind of powerful martial soul his left hand had awakened. If he hadn't arrived at the martial soul city and his safety was guaranteed, he would rather not use it for the rest of his life than tell anyone this secret. Suck. Huang took a deep breath, suppressed the tension in his heart, looked at his left hand with expectation, and began to summon with a thought. Ang, a long and deep dragon roar, accompanied by a powerful purple aura of destruction, instantly swept everything in the domain. At the moment when this aura of destruction gushed out, in the depths of the distant starred great forest, the originally calm lake of life suddenly rolled, and an excited whisper echoed above the lake. "He is here, the prophecy has come true, and there is hope for the soul beast to become a god." At the same time, the angel temple, the sea god island, and the slaughter city also had different visions. What a powerful soul power fluctuation, what a strong aura of destruction. The dragon roared, and a huge purple dragon shadow gradually appeared behind Huang. In an instant, Bibi Dong, Yu Guan and Gui Mai who were present were all stunned by the giant dragon figure behind Huang. What a huge monster! The dragon was about 10 meters tall, and its huge body, like a purple gold, was covered with dense black and purple scales. Its strong hind legs supported the ground, and its knife-like front claws occasionally flashed with lightning arcs, showing its powerful destructive power. Its scarlet eyes opened and closed, revealing a cold light. Its pair of dragon wings flapped gently, and the neatly arranged tables and chairs in the Pope's palace were all blown to the ground. Along with the dragon's strong breathing, waves of corrosive power gushed out of its mouth and quickly spread around, withering the flowers and plants in the Pope's palace at a speed visible to the naked eye. If you used 2 words to describe the dragon soul beast behind Huang, it would be destruction, ultimate destruction. This is the legendary purple brilliant destroying heaven dragon. The knowledgeable Bibi Dong first called out the name of the dragon. Zhuang Danlong is the companion dragon of the dragon god. Since birth, it has been accompanied by an extreme destructive attribute that is even stronger than that of the dragon god. It is known as the ancestor of the sub-dragons, and its powerful strength is beyond doubt. It was because of Zhuang Danlong's extreme destructive power that it was suspected by the dragon god and was destroyed by the dragon god himself. That battle was so fierce that if the dragon god did not have both destructive and elemental attributes, it would be uncertain who would win. It turned out to be the legendary martial spirit. Is it that God took pity on my fate and sent this child to me to accompany me? Looking at Huang beside her, Bibi Dong murmured to herself. "Child, I want to take you as my apprentice. Are you willing to be my last disciple?" Bibi Dong looked at Huang in front of her with expectation. Bibi Dong said that she wanted to take Huang as her apprentice at this time, and Yu Guan next to her was not displeased because of Bibi Dong's breaking of her promise. If Huang only had the martial spirit of Qirong Tong Shanju, Yu Guan would fight for it no matter what and let him inherit his mantle. But what Huang awakened was a twin martial spirit, which was beyond the scope of what he could teach. He was still self-aware of this. "I am willing to become your disciple." Disciple Huang pays homage to master. Huang respectfully paid homage to Bibi Dong. Good. I didn't expect that my research results would be useful one day. It's really great. Huanger, since you have become my last disciple, I will allow you to make a request. As long as I can do it, I will never refuse. Bibi Dong, who was in a good mood, smiled at Huang and said, "Master, I really have a request. Please agree to it." "Oh, you have to think about it. My request is not so casual. It will never come back after it is used. When your senior sister Liena became my disciple, I also agreed to a request, but she has not used it easily until now. Fearing that her new disciple would waste this great opportunity, Bibi Dong could not help but remind him. Yu Guan, who was standing behind Bibi Dong, heard that Yi Huang was going to use this request now, and kept gesturing to Yi Huang. Soul bone, I want soul bone. Looking at Gui Mai's mouth shape, Yi Huang smiled slightly, and became more determined in his inner thoughts. Master, I have thought of a request, and once I make it, I will never regret it. Oh, let me see what kind of request you will make in this short time? Yi Huang has made up his mind, and Bibi Dong does not dissuade him. There is no regret medicine in the world. There is only one chance, and it depends on whether you can grasp it. This is also the first lesson she teaches this closed disciple. The disciple's request is very simple. I want to ask the master to agree that the disciple can worship Elder Yu and Elder Gui as the second and third masters of the disciple. Ah, Bibi Dong never thought that Yi Huang would make such a request. Child, master wants to hear why you didn't listen to Elder Gui and ask me for soul bones just now, but chose this request. Bibi Dong did not answer Yi Huang's question, but asked Yi Huang instead. In Bibi Dong's domain, everything can't escape his eyes, of course, including the little movements of Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Chapter 9, A New Route for the Miraculous Babel Chrysanthemum. I am an orphan. Elder Yu and Elder Gui personally brought me from the distant Yijia village to Wuhan city. They took good care of me along the way. They gave me the softest and most comfortable seat in the carriage, and did not treat me coldly because I did not agree to their request to become their disciple. They answered all my questions without reservation. I am also a flesh and blood person. If I disappoint them, I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. If my soul bone is gone, I can fight and rob with my own strength. But if this love is gone, then it is really gone. Yi Huang's childish voice echoed in Bibi Dong's ears, making her heart restless for a long time. Alas, if he had such a high level of awareness at the beginning, how great it would be. Is he really ignorant of this truth, or did I end up giving my feelings to the wrong person? When Bibi Dong was daydreaming, Yi Huang's words interrupted her self-reflection. Master, please agree to my disciple's request. Okay, since you're so kind and righteous, I will fulfill your request. Bibi Dong calmed down her sadness and said loudly, Here, this is the soul guide ring I carry with me, as a reward for your performance just now. Teacher hopes that when you travel around the continent in the future, if you meet someone wearing a ring made of the same material as this one and with a star pattern on the face and need help, you must protect her for me. Bibi Dong looked at the ring in her hand and said in a low voice, Disciple will obey the master's order. Thank you, master. Yi Huang solemnly promised, happily took the half-moon ring from Bibi Dong's hand and put it on his finger. He had long wanted to have a soul guide. He envied Yu Guan and Gui Mai's soul guides along the way, but even the two elders didn't have extra ones, so Yi Huang was of course embarrassed to ask for it. Well, Yi Huang, who had just run a few steps and was about to become a disciple, suddenly thought of something and turned back. His slender little arms actually hugged Bibi Dong's neck and kissed her delicate face fiercely. Yi Huang's sudden attack caught Bibi Dong off guard, and her face was actually covered with red clouds. You are so clever. Go and become a disciple. Yes, master. Disciple Yi Huang greets the second and third masters. Okay. Looking at Yi Huang, who was respectfully saluting in front of them, Yu Guan and Gui Mai were so excited that they couldn't speak. It was such an honor to be taken as a disciple by a monster with twin martial spirits. They didn't expect that their kindness would be rewarded so much. The four people in the Pope's palace got the results they wanted, and the atmosphere was extremely harmonious. Yi Huang also had twin martial spirits like herself. When Bibi Dong showed his purple brilliant heaven-destroying martial spirit, she had already begun to plan the future development direction of his martial spirit in her heart. Child, I want you to add spirit rings to Qirong Tong Shanju first, and then add spirit rings to Zhuang Danlong Wuhan when your physique and mental strength reach the titled Buo level. Although Qirong Tong Shanju and Zhuang Danlong are both top-level martial souls, Zhuang Danlong is obviously better in terms of development potential. This will ensure that the spirit rings of your Zhuang Danlong Wuhan will be at least tens of thousands of years old. At that time, it is not impossible to get you 900,000-year spirit rings with the power of my Wuhan Hall. 900,000-year spirit rings. My God! Yuguan and Gaimai were directly stunned by Bibi Dong's generosity. Imagine the moment when the martial soul is opened. The 9 blood-colored spirit rings on the body are connected into one piece. What a shocking scene that is. Everything is up to the teacher. Okay, since you agreed, put the second martial soul aside, and let's talk about the development direction of Qirong Tong Shanju first. Yi Huang's straightforward answer also made Bibi Dong very satisfied. Elder Yu, your martial soul is the Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum, so you have more say in this regard. Please tell me your opinion first. Your Majesty, this Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum is originally a neutral fairy-grade medicinal herb. Eating it can circulate qi to the limbs, circulate blood through the 8 meridians, and cultivate an indestructible body. I chose the strong attack route, but when I became a titled Buo, I found that choosing the strong attack route did not seem to be the best choice. Although we are both titled Luos of the strong attack system, the sharp blade transformed from my Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum is very advantageous in harvesting soul masters with lower soul power than me, but it does not have an advantage when fighting against powerful weapon martial soul masters of the same level. Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum is a plant after all, and there is still a big gap compared to the sharpness of the gold-attributed martial soul. I think that Huanger's Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum can develop in the direction of auxiliary control. After all, this martial soul is born with the characteristics of an indestructible body. In this way, when Huanger grows up, he can become an all-rounder who can assist, control, and attack. Well, this is indeed a good idea. Our spirit hall has never lacked natural treasures. In the long run, this is indeed the best solution. Then it's settled. Let Huanger rest for a night. You will set off tomorrow. I'll trouble the 2 elders to obtain the spirit ring. This is what I should do. If your Majesty has nothing to tell me, I will take Huanger back first. After discussing the development direction of Yi Huang's spirit, Yu Guan and Gui Mai didn't want to stay here any longer. Bibi Dong's aura was too strong, which made the 2 of them very uncomfortable. Well, you go back. Huanger can stay here with me. Nana will have a companion. Yes, I'll take my leave. After Yu Guan and Gui Mai left the Pope's palace, Bibi Dong stood up and took Yi Huang's hand and walked out of the side door. Bibi Dong's bedroom was not in the Pope's palace, but on the top of a hill. This whole mountain is Bibi Dong's private forbidden area, overlooking most of Wuhan city. Except for Bibi Dong and Liena, Yu Guan and Gui Mai can only wait outside the fence of the palace. It can be said that Yi Huang is the first man to come here except for the craftsman who built it at the beginning. The 2 walked along the cobblestone path in the woods and came to a courtyard surrounded by a fence and decorated very exquisitely. The inner circle of the entire fence wall was filled with neatly arranged flower pots. It was midsummer, and the flowers were blooming in all their splendor. Looking inside along the fence, I saw a girl with short wine-red hair, wearing a pink vest and pink hot pants stretching her body in the courtyard. The girl looked about 11 or 12 years old. As she stretched her body, her already developed body was presented to Yi Huang without reservation. Although Yi Huang had the body of a child, he was in his 20s in his heart. This graceful movement coupled with the charm emanating from her body, even though he was far away, Yi Huang felt a little flustered. This is your senior sister Liena. Her martial spirit is a celestial fox. She also lives here. You should communicate more in the future. Chapter 10 Liena's embarrassment. Seeing Yi Huang's evasive look, Bibi Dong also felt amused. She was very confident in the talent and skills of her beloved apprentice. If someone could resist her charm the first time they met, then that person was either a woman or a eunuch. Squeak! Bibi Dong stretched out her hand to open the fence door and walked in with Yi Huang. Master, why did you come back just now? The sun is about to set, and your good apprentice is starving to death. Liena came over hopping, holding Bibi Dong's arm and acting coquettishly. Hey, teacher, who is this kid? She seemed to have discovered a new world, and her peach blossom eyes stared at Yi Huang behind Bibi Dong. Liena was very curious. After all, she knew her teacher and would not easily bring a stranger here. This is your junior brother, Huang. His martial soul is Qirong Tong Shanju, and he has full innate soul power. He will live here with us in the future. Junior brother, oh yeah, I have a junior brother. Liena jumped up happily. Although this is where she and Bibi Dong live, Bibi Dong, as the Pope, is always busy until late, and sometimes she lives directly in the Pope's palace. Now it's good, with this little junior brother, she will no longer be afraid of thundering weather in the future. Take the little junior brother to clean up the room first, I'll go cook. Although Bibi Dong is the Pope, she will occasionally cook by herself as long as she has time, but most of the time she will eat in the Pope's palace. Let's go, little junior brother, I'll take you to the bedroom first. Liena greeted, stretched out her soft jade hand and pulled Huang into the villa. Thank you, little senior sister. Although this villa is not big, the design inside is indeed exceptionally refined. A bronze retro crystal chandelier hangs on the ceiling of the living room. The one-piece mahogany sofa was carved with exquisite patterns. Behind the sofa was a large bookshelf filled with books. On one side of the living room was an open dining room. Judging from the neatness of the tableware, it was obviously not used many times. The two walked up the stairs to the second floor. There were only 3 rooms on the entire second floor. The left is my room, and the right is the teacher's room. You can only live in this one. Liena pointed to the bedroom in the middle and said, let's go in and take a look. Liena walked in front and opened the door. Oh, little junior brother, please wait a while before going in. It's too messy inside. I'll clean it up first, Liena exclaimed, and her face was covered with a layer of red. She hurriedly stopped Huang outside the door. Senior sister, don't bother, I can do it myself. How could Huang, who was always used to being independent, have the nerve to let a beautiful woman like Liena help him clean up his room? Before Liena closed the door, he squeezed into the bedroom. But when he squeezed in, he found that the whole bedroom was spotless. When he turned his eyes to the big bed in the middle of the bedroom in confusion, he was stunned. He saw all kinds of red, white, pink, and green underwear scattered on the big bed. In an instant, 2 food names appeared in Huang's mind. Dumplings and steamed buns made of leavened dough. You should clean them up. He. Huang ran out of the bedroom in a panic. Liena's laughter came from behind him. After a while, Liena sent the red, green, and purple things on Huang's bed to Bibi Dong in her own room. Okay, you can come in this time. Huang walked in awkwardly, and was greatly relieved to see that the bed had become clean. At this time, Bibi Dong came up. Huanger, are you satisfied with this room? If not, I can change it with you. I am satisfied. Very satisfied. Thank you, master. Well, as long as you are satisfied, since it has been arranged, let's go to the Pope's palace for dinner. Didn't the teacher say that he would cook for us when we go to the Pope's palace at the foot of the mountain to eat? Liena said with a puzzled look on her face. Well, there are no vegetables at home, only the leftover rice and a few eggs from the morning. Although Bibi Dong can cook, she can only make simple meals such as stir-fried vegetables and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Now that there are no vegetables or tomatoes at home, she certainly has no chance to show her cooking skills. When she heard Bibi Dong say that she was going to the Pope's palace for dinner, Liena's face showed disappointment. Although the ingredients in this Duo continent are rich, the cooking of food is still at the stage of stewing and roasting. Master, how about letting me try? You can cook? Bibi Dong looked at Huang, who was just a little taller than the stove, with full of doubts. I know a little bit. My parents died early when I was a child. I have been living on my own since I was 3 years old. Great, my junior brother can cook. I don't have to go to the Pope's palace to eat in the future. Then you try it. Don't force yourself. It doesn't matter if you can't do it well. At worst, we can go down the mountain to the Pope's palace to eat. Bibi Dong said comforting words in advance, fearing that Huang would lose face. Huang came to the kitchen and found a handful of green onions and 3 eggs. It is not difficult to make egg fried rice. Huang took out an empty bowl, beat 3 eggs into the bowl, and moved his wrist lightly, and the chopsticks and bowl immediately made a pleasant sound of ding-ding. Put oil in the pot, put the beaten eggs in it, and Huang fried them into egg crumbs and served them. Put some oil in the pot again, Pour the leftover rice from the morning into the pot and stir fry. When the rice is evenly heated, pour the fried egg crumbs in the bowl and stir fry. Sprinkle salt, add fine chopped green onions, and stir fry. Turn off the heat and serve. After a while, 3 small plates of egg fried rice were out of the pot. The yellow egg pieces, green onions, and shiny and plum rice, the 3 were mixed together, and the appearance alone conquered Bibi Dong and Liena. Master, little sister, please try it and see how it tastes. Hearing Huang's words, the 2 women picked up the silver spoons at hand, scooped up some egg fried rice and put it in their mouths. Delicious, so delicious. Liena's eyes lit up, and the silver spoon in her hand reached for the rice on the plate again. Seeing the current pope and the future saint being conquered by his food, Huang felt a sense of accomplishment. After a while, the 3 plates of egg fried rice were eaten clean. Liena, who was full, stretched lazily, not feeling that there was still a grain of rice stuck on her face. Little sister, Huang smiled and pointed to the position of his face. Seeing Huang pointing at her face, Liena didn't understand at first, but in a blink of an eye, she seemed to have thought of something, and a shy expression appeared on her face. Finally, as if she had made up her mind, she slowly came to Huang's side. When Huang was puzzled, Liena suddenly lowered her head, closed her eyes, and kissed the place where Huang had just pointed with her soft mouth. This is just once, and it won't happen again. This. What? You are not satisfied with just one kiss? Senior sister, I don't mean that, I mean there is a grain of rice on your face. It's over. It's a big deal. Seeing Huang's serious look, Liena wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Puff. Haha. Bibi Dong on the side couldn't help laughing. Master Liena, who was overwhelmed with shame, plunged into Bibi Dong's arms, and didn't dare to talk to Huang until she went to bed at night. Chapter 11, Tit for Tat. The next day, before dawn, it was still pitch black outside. Hearing Bibi Dong's voice, Huang got up quickly. Today he could follow his 2 masters to get spirit rings, and he was impatient. Walking out of the bedroom, Huang looked at Liena's tightly closed bedroom door and sighed helplessly. Alas, I shouldn't have said that if I had known. It made my senior sister ignore me. Huang walked to the foot of the mountain in a low mood and saw a large carriage parked at the mountain gate. Sitting in the front of the carriage were Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Good morning, second master, third master. Huang gathered his lost mood and greeted the 2. Good morning, Huanger. Go to the carriage and take a nap first. When you wake up, we should be able to reach our destination. Okay, thank you for your hard work, 2 masters. Huang lifted the curtain in front of the carriage and walked into the carriage. The carriage was a little dark. As soon as he entered the carriage, he immediately smelled a familiar fragrance. Senior sister, why are you here too? Huang looked at Liena, who was curled up in the carriage and covered with a thin silk blanket, with joy. Humphrey, are you the only one allowed to go and get the spirit ring, and I can't go? Liena was obviously still upset about what happened yesterday. Yes, of course I can go. I'm here to congratulate you on your successful promotion to a Great Spirit Master. Great Spirit Master? This time Liena jumped up like a cat whose tail was stepped on. Look, I'm going to be promoted to a Spirit Master, not a Great Spirit Master. Huang looked at the 2 spirit rings on Liena with a wry smile on his face. He originally wanted to flatter her, but he didn't expect to flatter the horse's hoof. He secretly cursed himself for being a pig-brained person. If Liena was promoted to a Great Spirit Master at this age, how could she be the leader of the golden generation of the Spirit Hall? Seeing Liena closing her eyes to rest, with no intention of paying attention to him at all, Huang also closed his eyes. Although he had been practicing the Zisui Jing since he was young, he was still young after all. He had spent the past half-month in the carriage and had not rested well. It didn't take long before he fell asleep. The morning dew had not yet dissipated, and the temperature in the carriage was not high. The sleepy Huang felt a warm object leaning against him. Human instinct prompted him to adjust a more comfortable posture and continue to sleep. In his sleep, Huang had a strange dream. He dreamed that he was married, and the person he married was none other than his senior sister Liena. But just when he and his senior sister were about to have their wedding night, a scream woke Huang up from his sweet dream. Huang opened his hazy eyes and saw Liena leaning against him, looking at him with anger on her face. "Senior sister, what's wrong with you?" Huang obviously didn't understand what had happened. "Your hand." Huang looked forward along his arm, and saw that his right hand passed through Liena's arm and was placed in a place where it shouldn't be. All of a sudden, he lost all his sleepiness. "I'm sorry, senior sister. I didn't mean it. It's terrible. We haven't even reached our destination yet. I've already offended senior sister twice. She won't talk to me anymore." Huang was ready to face Liena's anger. "Boy, I took advantage of you yesterday, and you took advantage of me again just now. This time we are even. If you dare to mention what happened last night to anyone in the future, I will never forgive you." Liena raised her little fist, waved at Huang as a protest, lifted the curtain in front of the carriage and walked out. Huang followed her out, and he didn't notice that he hadn't moved since he got on the carriage. The carriage had arrived at the destination more than half an hour ago. Seeing that Huang and Liena were still sleeping, Guan and Gui Mai didn't deliberately wake them up. "Are you awake? Come and have something to eat so that we can go hunting soul beasts." Guan and Gui Mai looked at the two children who came out one after another and hurriedly greeted them. After Liena and Huang finished eating, Guan and Gui Mai took them to the sky and quickly flew to a location on the edge of the forest. The scout team of the Spirit Hall had already started searching for a suitable soul beast for Liena a month before she became a soul master. This is also the benefit of joining the Spirit Hall. As long as you are good enough and concentrate on practicing, there will be someone to prepare the soul ring for you. After a while, Guan and Gui Mai landed next to a dead tree in the forest. As soon as the four of them landed on the ground, several soul masters wearing the clothes of the Spirit Hall fell from the towering tree. These were the sensitive soul masters who were responsible for searching for soul beasts. "Greetings, two elders. Brain number 1 is not far away." Well done. You can go back to the Spirit Hall to receive your reward. Since soul beast number 1 is here, notify the people of number 2 and number 3 to withdraw. Hearing Guan's order, the leading soul master took out a flare and shot it into the air, and then several people turned around and withdrew from the forest. "You wait here, I'll go get the prey." Gui Mai's figure flashed and disappeared in front of everyone. In just a few breaths, Gui Mai came over with a fox that was 1.5 meters long and covered in fiery red hair. "This is a 2,500-year-old red flame fox. Nana, please absorb it quickly." As Bibi Dong's disciple, Liena is also very talented. After a month of analysis, the age of this red flame fox has reached her absorption limit. Gui Mai casually threw the dying fox not far from Liena. At some point, Liena had a dagger in her hand. She walked forward, covered the eyes of the red flame fox with her left hand, and the dagger in her right hand quickly slashed across the throat of the red flame fox. Not long after, a purple soul ring appeared above the fox's body. Liena quickly sat cross-legged and guided the soul ring into her body. It is not so easy to absorb the limit. Liena's brows were frowned soon, and her whole body was shaking violently, looking very painful. I don't know why. Seeing Liena's painful look, Huang felt inexplicably distressed. Guan and Gui Mai beside him were also looking at Liena nervously. They were ready to take action. Fortunately, there was no danger, and Liena's brows gradually relaxed. After a while, Liena slowly opened her eyes. "Grandpa, I succeeded." "Child, you take a rest first." Looking at the weak Liena, without waiting for Guan and Gui Mai to order, Huang walked over and hugged her like a princess, leaning her against a soft pile of grass, as if he was afraid that Liena would hurt her, and even took off his coat and cushioned Liena's back. This time Liena did not struggle. Although she was absorbing the soul ring just now, she was not completely unaware of what was happening around her. Huang saw all the changes in her emotions. Chapter 12 7-Colored Kylan Flower. An hour later, Liena stood up. Although her face was still a little pale, her physical strength had almost recovered. The red flame charm fox brought Liena a soul skill of the sky fox transformation. After using this soul skill, the demon fox behind her will burn with fiery red spiritual flames all over her body. and the charm power will be doubled. This layer of spiritual flames on the body can also greatly weaken the damage of spiritual attacks on the body. Grandfathers, it's getting late. Let's go and help our junior brother find a soul beast. Liena got such a powerful soul skill. In her happy mood, she seemed to have forgotten what Huang had done to her. Then let's go to the soul beast forest to look for it again. Yuan and Gaimai saw that Liena's body was almost recovered, and the four of them continued to look for it in the soul hunting forest. Huang came to Wuhan City yesterday and decided to hunt soul beasts today. Although all the scout teams in the Wuhan Hall had set out since receiving the order last night and dispersed to various large forests to search, but after all, the time was too short, and Yuan and Gaimai had too high requirements for the first soul ring of their only disciple, so no news has been sent back from the scout teams until now. Now, Yuan and Gaimai had to join the army aimlessly to find soul beasts for Huang. However, on the way back, Yuan and Gaimai did not take Huang and Liena to fly in the air, but slowly searched along the narrow path that the predecessors had walked in the forest. It was not the first time for Huang to enter the big forest, but it was the first time for him to walk in this primitive forest full of soul beasts. Yuan and Gaimai guarded Huang and Liena one after the other. The two of them took this great opportunity to teach Huang about the things he should pay attention to in the soul beast forest. In the soul beast forest, sprinkle Rauger around the tent at night to prevent snake soul beasts from approaching. Try not to light a fire at night to avoid unnecessary trouble. Don't touch any irrelevant colorful flowers and plants in the forest. You must understand that the more colorful the flowers, the more toxic they are. You never know which one will suddenly take your life. The forest is very large. You must mark yourself to prevent getting lost. You must act within your ability and don't easily provoke soul beasts beyond your ability. And the most important thing is, don't easily leave your back to others, because sometimes people's greed is more terrible than the soul beasts in this forest. Huang listened to the experience imparted by Yuan and Gaimai, and silently compared it with his previous accumulation, taking the essence and removing the dross. In this life, Huang was already an experienced hunter. With the combat experience of the special forces in the previous life, it didn't take long for him to become a seasoned soul master who often went in and out of the hunting soul forest. In this vast soul beast forest, it is not easy to find a suitable soul beast. If you are lucky, you can find it in a few days. If you encounter bad times, you may not get anything for half a month. This search for soul beasts is not a hasty thing. The four people walked slowly in this lush forest, and found a 500-year-old diamond bamboo along the way. According to Yuan and Gaimai, this diamond bamboo should be able to provide Huang with a good defensive soul skill. The two of them have already discussed that if the scouts scattered around tomorrow have not found a better soul beast than this diamond bamboo, they are ready to use this diamond bamboo. As the four people went deeper, the footprints of soul beasts on the ground suddenly became much less than the areas they had walked through before. The area of 10,000-year soul beasts is ahead. I'll take you two to see it. Absorb the diamond bamboo on the way back. When Huang went deep into the sphere of influence of the 10,000-year soul beasts, he clearly felt that the spiritual energy in the air had become much richer. The journey was an eye-opener for Huang. He saw a 3-meter-tall gorilla, a 5-meter-tall tiger, and even a 1-meter-tall spider. The scarlet eyes of these soul beasts stared at them closely. Perhaps they felt the powerful oppression from Yuan and Gaimai. They just watched from a distance and did not attack Huang and the others. After browsing the 10,000-year soul beast area, when they were about to go back, a colorful glow that appeared not far away attracted the attention of Yuan and Gaimai. Old ghost, go and see what that is. Yuan saw Gaimai leave, and hugged Liena and Huang in his arms. This is already the territory of 10,000-year soul beasts. Although Yuan and Gaimai, with the strength of titled Duo, can deal with these soul beasts without much effort, they are still carrying two children after all. If anything happens to the two children, even if Pope Bibi Dong does not blame them, they will regret it for the rest of their lives. Gaimai left quickly and came back quickly. I'm rich. There is a 7-color Kylan flower that is less than 1,000 years old growing in the territory of 10,000-year soul beasts. 7-color Kylan flower. Is it real? Did you see clearly how old it is? No. I was so excited that I didn't look carefully. Then what are you still standing there? Go and see it clearly. Okay, I'll go right away. Gui Mai, who reacted, disappeared in front of everyone again. Haha, great. I didn't expect to encounter such a top-grade auxiliary soul ring here. Second master, what is a 7-color Kylan flower? Huang didn't understand what kind of soul beast could make the two knowledgeable masters so excited. Child, this 7-color Kylan flower is an extraordinary soul beast, known as the auspicious beast among plants. It absorbs soul power twice as fast as other soul beasts, and can also transform, purify, and provide other soul beasts with the mixed spiritual energy and the air for cultivation, making other soul beasts cultivate faster. This is a top-quality soul beast for auxiliary soul masters. Master, let's go and take a look. This rare plant soul beast also aroused the curiosity of Liena and Huang. Wait a minute. Don't think that the 7-color Kylan flower has no attack power, but where it is, there must be many soul beasts guarding it. Ghost Duo went there for a long time this time. When he went out, bursts of soul beast roars suddenly came from the location where the 7-color Kylan flower was. After a cup of tea, Gui Mai came back with a face full of regret. This is a 7-color Kylan flower that is more than 900 years old. Alas, it's a pity that Huang can't use it. Hearing the ghost's words, Guan sighed helplessly. Since we are here, I will show you what the 7-colored Kylan flower looks like. This thing is a rare plant. Even at my age, I have only seen 2 plants. Chapter 13. The first soul skill, Rain and Dew. Huang followed Guan and walked forward. Perhaps because they were close to the 7-color Kylan flower, the surrounding vegetation was particularly dense. Passing through the dense bushes, there were 3 soul beast corpses lying on the ground. From the black soul rings that escaped, it can be seen that the age of these soul beasts is more than 10,000 years. Not far from these soul beast corpses is the 7-color Kylan flower. When Huang saw this 7-color Kylan flower, he was even more surprised. Although this plant is called the 7-color Kylan flower, it is more appropriate to call it the 7-color Kylan tree in Huang's opinion. This 7-color Kylan flower is really too tall and too big. The trunk of the 7-color Kylan flower is about as thick as an adult's thigh, and the height is about 4 meters. There are 7 branches on the crown. Each branch has a flower bud shaped like a Kylan. When the breeze blows, the 7 Kylan-shaped flower buds float in the wind, flashing dazzling 7-color light. This is so beautiful. It must be said that the light emitted by the 7-color Kylan flower is really beautiful, even more beautiful than the neon lights of later generations. What a pity. Yes, the span is too large. Even if it's 200 years longer, we can still fight. This is a full 500 years longer. Guan and Gui Mai's faces were full of reluctance. 2 masters. The disciple wants to give it a try. No, it's too dangerous. Guan refused without thinking. Although the treasure is good, it must be endured by life. Master, just let me try. How can I do something that I am not sure of? 2 masters also know that I had a strange disease when I was born, and my whole body exudes a strong aura of destruction. Even this powerful aura of destruction can't do anything to me, let alone this little soul beast. Huang did not tell Guan and Gui Mai about his practice of the Washing Marrow Sutra. After all, the Washing Marrow Sutra is not something from this world, and it is troublesome to explain. It is better to just say that he is gifted. I feel that my physical strength is even stronger than that of a great soul master. If you don't believe me, look. In order to make Guan and Gui Mai believe that he has a strong physique that can absorb a 900-year-old soul beast, Huang moved his body and punched a small tree next to him that was as thick as a bowl. Boom! With a roar, the small tree was cut in half, revealing a white cross-section. Huang did not show his full strength, but this powerful punch still surprised the 3 people standing by. Huang is only 6 years old this year, but the punch just now is close to the level of a great soul master. Master, let me try. Having no choice but to be worn down by Huang, Yu Guan and Gui Mai exchanged glances and thought of a compromise. Huang, since you insist on absorbing the 7-color Kylan flower, it's not impossible, but you have to meet one of our requirements. What requirements? Third Master, please tell me. I will control my physical strength to the level of a great soul master in a while. As long as you can take my punch with your bare hands without getting hurt, I will do as you say. In the eyes of Yu Guan and Gui Mai, as long as Yi Huang's physique reaches the level of a great soul master, it should not be a problem to absorb this 7-color Kylan flower that is more than 900 years old. Okay, then do as Third Master says. Although Yi Huang didn't know how strong his mental power was, he was still quite confident in his physical strength. After all, in the past 6 years, his body had been destroyed by the aura of destruction all the time, and then repaired by the Marrow Cleansing Sutra. After so many times, his muscle toughness and bone density have already exceeded those of his peers by many times. This soul ring is related to Yi Huang's cultivation speed, and he is determined to get it. Third Master, it's time to start. Good boy, take the punch. Gui Mai shouted in a low voice, and hit Yi Huang with his right fist without any fancy moves. Gui Mai said that he would control his strength to the level of a great soul master, but to ensure that there would be no mistakes, he quietly raised his strength to the level of a soul master when he punched. Seeing the power of Gui Mai's punch, Liena's pretty face changed color instantly, and she couldn't help but shout to Yi Huang out of worry, "Little junior brother, get out of the way." "Come on." Yi Huang didn't seem to hear Liena's exclamation. Looking at Gui Mai's attacking fist, he didn't dodge, but was full of fighting spirit. "Take my punch." Yi Huang suddenly stepped out with his left leg, twisted his waist backwards, and his small fist, with a sound of breaking wind, met Gui Mai's huge fist with a lightning speed. Bang! When the two fists collided, a wave of air rolled out. Dang, dang, dang! Yi Huang not only blocked the power of Gui Mai's punch without any injury, but also beat Gui Mai back several steps in succession. This is too strong. This little guy is simply a humanoid soul beast. If the second martial soul is combined with a soul ring, who else in this Duo continent can match him? Yu Guan and Gui Mai did not expect Yi Huang's physique to be so strong. Third Master, can I absorb it now? Looking at the three people who still hadn't come back to their senses, Yi Huang asked with a smile. Yes, this is great. Yi Huang's body strength is enough to absorb this 7-color Kylan flower, and Yu Guan and Gui Mai certainly won't stop him. Yi Huang walked over happily, and without the obstruction of other soul beasts, Yi Huang easily killed this 7-color Kylan flower. Seeing a soul ring with yellow and purple in it appear above the 7-color Kylan flower, Yi Huang quickly summoned his martial soul, sat cross-legged, and guided the soul ring to slowly descend to his body according to the formula that Yu Guan had just taught. The moment the soul ring landed on his body, Yi Huang felt a torrent of heat rushing into his body. Not only did he not feel any discomfort, but he felt a warm feeling rising in his body. In fact, it is easy to understand why such a situation happened. After all, Yi Huang's physique has been strong to a certain extent. It is like a soul saint absorbing a white soul ring. The impact of this soul ring does not pose a threat to him at all. Seeing Yi Huang standing up as if nothing had happened not long ago, Yu Guan and Gui Mai showed a look of seeing a ghost. It takes a very strong physique to absorb a soul ring in such a short time. Huang, tell Master what your first soul skill is? Yu Guan and Gui Mai surrounded Yi Huang and asked impatiently. Master, my first soul skill is called Rain and Dew. It can increase my soul power absorption speed by 10% when I am practicing soul power, and increase the soul power recovery speed of my teammates by 10% in battle. And in the future, every time my soul power increases by 10 levels, the first attribute will increase by 10%. Hiss. Hearing the amplification effect of this soul skill, the three people present took a breath and sighed in their hearts. This soul skill is truly worthy of its name. Now that Liena and Yi Huang have both obtained satisfactory soul rings, there is no need for the four of them to suffer in this big forest. Yu Guan and Gui Mai took the two of them and flew directly out of this soul-hunting forest. Chapter 14 Enrollment. The next morning, Yi Huang got up early, which was a good habit he had developed over the years. Even though he had returned to Wuhan City in the early morning last night, he still got up without fail. In order not to wake up Liena, Huang tiptoed downstairs and came to the kitchen to see if there was anything he could make for breakfast, perhaps in order to eat the delicious food made by Huang again. There were a lot more ingredients in the kitchen this time. Huang took out some rice, washed it and put it in the casserole, and took a small piece of unknown lean meat, cut it into small cubes, and lit the fire to boil it. Taking this opportunity, Huang also sat cross-legged and summoned his martial soul to practice soul power. The first soul skill, rain and dew, are equally distributed. As the first soul skill was lit, the Qirong Tang San emitting colorful light rose to the top of Huang's head and rotated above his head. In an instant, Huang felt an extremely pure soul power pouring into his body from the thousands of pores on his body. This is the heaven-defined power of Huang's first soul skill. It can purify the modeled soul power in the air. Under the same soul power, the soul master with pure soul power consumes much less soul power when using soul skills than the soul master with mixed soul power. Just like the car of Huang in his previous life burned oil, under the same power, the better the oil, the more durable the car can run. That's the same principle. When the first ray of sunlight on the horizon shone on Huang's face, he also woke up from his practice. At this time, the lean meat porridge cooked in the casserole was already soft and glutinous, exuding an attractive and rich aroma. When Huang got up and prepared to go to the second floor to wake up Liena to eat, but he saw Liena opened the fence door and walked in from outside. Liena's hair was wet with sweat. In order not to affect Huang's rest, she went to practice in the woods early in the morning. Sure enough, geniuses are 1% talent plus 99% hard work. Huang thought he got up early enough, but he didn't expect Liena to get up earlier than him. "Good morning, junior sister. I thought you hadn't gotten up yet, and was just about to go up to call you." "Good morning, junior brother. What delicious food have you made this time?" Liena's nose gently inhaled the rich aroma in the air, and asked with curiosity. "You'll know in a while. Go wash your hands." "Lulilu, you just know how to be mysterious." Liena stuck out her tongue and made a face at Huang, then turned and went upstairs to change clothes. Since the two of them obtained the spirit ring together, the relationship between Liena and Huang has obviously become much closer. While Liena was washing up, Huang walked into the kitchen again, poured the chopped lettuce into the cooked meat porridge, and made a crisp and refreshing small cold dish. When Huang put the food on the table, Bibi Dong, who had been busy all night, also rushed back from the Pope's palace. The three of them sat together and had a simple breakfast. Although the food Huang made was simple, Bibi Dong and Liena were very satisfied with it. "Huanger, the Soul Master Academy of Wuhan City will start tomorrow. You should also report to the Soul Master Academy." Bibi Dong was also considering Huang. Although Huang worshipped her, Gui Mai and Yu Guan as his teachers, the three of them could only guide Huang in the general direction. Bibi Dong had to deal with many matters of the spirit hall, and Yu Guan and Gui Mai also served as the punishment elders of the entire spirit hall. None of the three could accompany Huang all the time. "Okay, everything is arranged by Master Sister," Huang readily agreed. The children of the Spirit Hall Academy are basically the descendants of officials of the Spirit City, nobles of the two empires and some civilians with top spirits. Huang also wanted to make more friends during this time. Besides, there are all kinds of strange spirits in the Soul Master Academy. More exchanges will be more conducive to his progress. The next day, Huang went to the Spirit Hall Academy alone after breakfast to register. Bibi Dong originally wanted Huang to go to the academy with Liena, but this proposal was directly rejected by Huang. What a joke! He entered the academy as an ordinary person. Liena has a large number of suitors in the Soul Master Academy, and he doesn't want to become a thorn in the eyes of those suitors as soon as school starts. In order to provide a variety of simulated environments for the Soul Masters of the academy, the Wuhan Hall Academy was not built in Wuhan City, but on a small hill not far from Wuhan City. From Wuhan City to the academy, there is a Soul Master from the Wuhan Hall every other distance, and Huang is not worried about his own safety. When Huang arrived at the Wuhan Hall Soul Master Academy, the entrance was already surrounded by a large number of carriages. These are the carriages of the nobles of the two empires near Wuhan City. It's no wonder that these nobles want to send their children here, as the holy land of the mainland Soul Masters. The teaching staff of the Wuhan Hall Academy is absolutely second to none. Even the lowest level teachers in the academy are at the level of Soul Sect. If this were placed in the two empires, any teacher picked out at random could be the dean of the junior college. For them, being able to send their children to the Spirit Hall Academy to study is also a matter of great pride. After all, this academy only accepts children with innate soul power above level 4. Huang followed the long line and slowly moved forward. An hour later, it was finally Huang's turn. He hurriedly handed over the certificate issued by Yu Guan. When the official saw that Huang's innate soul power was level 10 written on the certificate, a flattering smile appeared on his face. "Hello, welcome to the Spirit Hall Academy. This is your admission token. Please take it." "Thank you." Huang took the A-shaped token handed over by the official with both hands, thanked him, and walked towards the academy. In order to better teach students in accordance with their aptitude, the academy divided the students into 4 teaching areas: A, B, C, and D. This also avoids the situation where the high soul power is dragged down by the low soul power during collective teaching, and the low soul power cannot keep up with the teaching rhythm of the high soul power. The initial soul power above level 7 is concentrated in the A-shaped area, and soul masters above the soul BUO level take turns to teach. Level 6 students are in the B zone, and are taught by soul saint level soul masters in turn. Level 5 students are in the C zone, and are taught by soul emperor level soul masters. Level 4 students are in the D zone, and are taught by soul sect level soul masters. The first thing to do when enrolling in Wuhan City Academy is to assign dormitories. Huang followed the sign all the way and soon arrived at the 4th dormitory for the beginner class A zone students. The dormitory area of Wuhan City Academy is a dormitory for 8 people, and everyone is treated equally. This is also done to make everyone familiar with each other and cultivate tacit understanding. After all, everyone will fight together in the future. Huang pushed open the door and walked in. The dormitory was very clean. Although it was an 8-person room, it was built spaciously and was not as crowded as when Huang went to school in his previous life. There are still too few geniuses with soul power exceeding level 7. When Huang came in, there were only 3 people living in the dormitory. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15. I Am Your Little Wife. Huang carefully looked at his 3 roommates. The 3 roommates who came first also looked very distinctive. A little bald head with a Maitreya Buddha smile, a cold boy with a scorpion braid. There was also a guy with golden hair, a fierce face, and a skinny look. "Hello everyone, my name is Huang, from the Tandu Empire, Fazino Province." Huang, who had found a bed, greeted the other 3. You can't hit a smiling person. Hearing Huang's initiative to greet, the other 3 also announced their home addresses. "My name is Tang San, from Wuhan City. If you have any difficulties in Wuhan City, you can find me." The lively little bald head was the first to introduce himself. "Zhu Zin, Xingyuo Empire," said the cold man with a scorpion braid. "Hu Yanzhen." The boy with a fierce face spoke even more briefly, only revealing his own name. Looking at the 3 roommates with different personalities, Huang was also full of expectations for the dormitory life in the future. Ding, ding, ding. The school bell rang 3 times. This was the bell for the end of registration, indicating that the students for this year had been enrolled. All students in the 4th room of the elementary class A assemble outside the door. A loud shout came from outside the dormitory. Hearing the voice outside, the 4 people hurriedly got up and walked out. After all, it was the first day, and they didn't want to cause trouble for themselves. The 4 walked out of the dormitory and saw an old man in black clothes, thin and gaunt, standing at the door like a javelin. The old man's eyes swept over Huang and others, and then he spoke. "Welcome new students to join the Wuhan Hall Academy. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Yang Wushwang, Wuhan Paon Gun, 85th level strong attack soul Duo. In the next few years, I will teach you theoretical and practical courses." While Yang Wushwang was giving a lecture, he summoned a black iron spear with a huge gun head. "I don't care which family you come from or how excellent your talents are, you'd better behave yourself here, otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless with the soul-breaking spear in my hand." In order to intimidate Huang and others, Yang Wushwang fiercely tapped the soul-breaking spear in his hand on a large rock not far from him. Boom! A huge roar was heard, and the entire large rock instantly shattered, and a rain of stones suddenly fell on the scene. "This is too strong." Looking at the huge rock in front of them, which instantly turned into small stones hitting the ground, the four children all widened their eyes, looking at Yang Wushwang with admiration. "Now you can rest in the dormitory, and wait until the afternoon to gather in the classroom to start class." Looking at Yang Wushwang, who turned and walked away, Huang was also very surprised. Soul-breaking spear, Yang Wushwang. He didn't expect that his teacher would be Yang Wushwang, the traitor of the Po Yi clan. In fact, in Huang's eyes, Yang Wushwang was not a traitor to the Po Yi clan. The reason why he joined the Wuhan Hall was that he didn't want the Po Yi clan to be used as a gun by the Hashan sect again, and the clan members would suffer from unprovoked disasters. Knowing that the Po Yi clan had been abandoned by the Haotian sect, they still wanted to resist stubbornly. "Isn't that asking for trouble?" After Yang Wushwang left, only Huang and the other four were left at the scene. They were all 6-year-old children and became familiar with each other in a short while. The four arranged themselves in order according to their age. Unexpectedly, Hu Yanzhen, who was the thinnest this time, was the oldest and the eldest brother. Tang San, who was born in April, was the second child. Zhu Zin, who was born in June and had a scorpion braid, was the third. Huang, who was born in November, was the youngest and could only be the fourth child. Seeing that it was noon, the four of them packed up and hurried to the cafeteria to eat. The cafeteria was very spacious, and all the students who had not graduated from the previous A class had their meals in this cafeteria. When Huang entered the door, he even saw his senior sister Liena eating there carelessly, with a red-haired monkey beside her chattering about something. The only one who could cause Liena such trouble was the dog licker Yan. Huang did not go forward to greet them, but turned his head away. In order to get along with his classmates safely, he deliberately asked Bibi Dong to help him conceal his identity. He couldn't expose it at this time. When Huang and the other three walked into the cafeteria, they immediately attracted a lot of attention. After all, it was rare for the Soul Master Academy to recruit 4 talented students at once. Among the students present, only Liena's class recruited Ziyu, Liena, and Yan. There was even a class that did not recruit any. Perhaps considering the high consumption of these Soul Masters, the meals in the cafeteria are mainly meat. When Huang was eating with relish, there was a sudden exclamation in the cafeteria. Huang looked up curiously and his face changed color instantly. Liena was holding a plate, walking towards this side with a cat step, and she was charming. Huang quickly lowered his head, and silently said in his heart, "You can't see me, you can't see me. But ideals are full, and reality is very skinny. Junior, can I sit here?" Liena's voice sounded, and Huang knew that his wish was in vain. "Of course, senior sister, please take a seat." Tang San and the others could not resist Liena's charm, and they moved aside without any backbone, making a big space for Liena. "Brother Huang, why didn't you say hello when you saw your sister?" At this time, Huang could no longer pretend, and looked at Liena with a bitter smile on his face. "Hello, sister, I didn't see you just now." "Old 4, do you know senior sister Liena?" Tang San asked with a gossipy face. Liena was the goddess of the All-Soul Master Academy. He didn't understand how Huang, who came from the Tandu Empire, knew his goddess. More than knowing each other, we even lived in the same room. Without waiting for Huang to explain, Liena directly reported another big thunder. "Senior sister, don't talk nonsense." Huang hurriedly stopped her from saying anything. But Liena obviously had no intention of letting Huang go. Liena was really fed up with being pestered by Yiang. Everyone else was afraid of Yiang's strength. Finally, someone with a strength not lower than Yiang came. Of course, she would not let him go. As for the future, if Yiang wanted to trouble Huang, she was not worried that Huang would suffer. With Huang's strong body, it was not certain who would trouble whom. "You little enemy, I am your parents' fiancé. Don't you like your sister so much? Isn't your sister just a few years older than you?" Seeing Liena's performance of feeding food to her mouth, Huang knew that he was completely screwed today. As soon as Liena said the word fiancé, there was an uproar in the cafeteria. If eyes could kill, Huang would have died thousands of times. "This is the toiletries I prepared for you. You must take good care of yourself." A pink basin filled with a towel, a toothbrush and a change of clothes appeared on the table, confirming Liena's words. This is what Guan asked Liena to bring to Huang, and it just happened to be useful at this time. "Since you don't like me so much, I won't bother you anymore. Goodbye, my love." Before Huang could react, Liena suddenly kissed him on the cheek and ran out of the cafeteria with a sad face. Seeing Liena crying with her face covered, Huang's heart sank to the bottom. "Damn, this woman is too cruel. This directly ruined my right to choose a spouse." Chapter 16, Cafeteria Incident. Liena left. The students eating in the cafeteria also shifted their focus, looking back and forth at Huang and Yiang. Some students who had suffered at the hands of Yiang looked at Yiang, who was standing alone with a dark complexion, with ill intentions. "Aren't you Yiang very powerful? Didn't you not allow us to get close to my senior sister? Let's see how you end up today." Feeling the ill-intentioned gazes from the students around him, Yiang was extremely angry at this time, and his eyes were fixed on Huang, as if he wanted to eat him. Liena was his Yiang's forbidden delicacy. He had driven away batches of suitors with his tyrannical strength, but he didn't expect to be cuckolded by a little kid in public. How could he feel good in his heart? "Boy, stand up. I want to duel with you." Looking at Huang, who was still eating slowly, Yiang could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. "Brothers, I'm full. Let's go back." Huang ignored the furious Yiang, put the toiletries and clothes given by Liena into the soul guide, said hello to his roommates and prepared to go to the dormitory. Crazy. Too crazy. He actually ignored the furious Yiang, seeing that Huang didn't take Yiang seriously at all. The students around were shocked. "Boy, I'm talking to you." Yiang opened his arms and blocked the way of the four people. "I say Yiang, you are a level 29 Great Soul Master, bullying a child. How shameless." It was senior sister Liena who pursued our Huang. "If you have the ability, you can also let senior sister Liena pursue you." The Maitreya Buddha smile on Tanchan's face gradually disappeared. Looking at Yiang, who blocked his way, he said coldly, "Tanchan, you have nothing to do here. You'd better not get involved." Yiang was obviously afraid of the power behind Tanchan, and his tone softened a lot. "He is our friend. If you want to fight him, ask our brothers if they agree first." Hu Yanzhen, who spoke the least among the four, directly pulled Huang behind the three. Although they knew that Yang's fighting ability was much higher than theirs, the three still did not retreat at all and surrounded Huang tightly in the middle. The four freshmen are now a group. If they retreat one step today, the others will find a way to make them retreat 100 steps. They can't retreat today, and they won't retreat. Looking at the classmates who surrounded him in the middle, who had just met him for a short time, Huang felt warm in his heart, as if he had returned to the army in his previous life. "Boy, if you have the ability, don't be a turtle. I won't bully you. I don't use soul skills. As long as you can go through 10 rounds under my hands, I, Yiang, will never embarrass you in the future." Yiang is now in a dilemma. If he fights, he will offend people. If he doesn't fight, so many people are watching. How can he survive in the Soul Master Academy in the future? There are strict rules in the Wuhan Hall Academy. As long as the other party does not accept your challenge, you will have to bear a lot of responsibility if you take action. "Oh, you really want to duel with me? Nonsense. I wish I could tear you apart now." Yiang did not hide the hatred in his heart at all. "Okay, as long as you beg me, you kneel down and beg me, I will accept your challenge." "Fuck, This kid is so clever." Huang's words spread throughout the cafeteria, and the scene was in an uproar again. This is a good move. With Yan's face-saving character, he will definitely not let go of his face and kneel down to beg. This way the kid will be safe. No wonder this kid has always looked fearless. It turns out he was waiting here. Everyone at the scene was amazed by Huang's quick-witted move. Okay, I beg you, accept my challenge. I don't need soul power. As long as you go through 10 moves under my hands, today's things will be written off. The plot did not go as the students around him expected. Yan, who was extremely angry, actually knelt on one knee and begged Huang to agree to his duel. It's over. This kid is finished. He has gone too far, and actually humiliated Yan like this. He will be disabled if not dead. The students who were watching the excitement around him looked at Huang with eyes that had changed from gloating to pity. Since you, the red-haired monkey, want to play, then I will play with you. Huang pushed aside several roommates who were blocking the way and walked to the front. Huang, you are not this guy's opponent. You can't go. Huang appreciates the kindness of all the brothers. You can protect me today. What if I am left alone one day? Troubles always have to be solved. I, Huang, am also a person who fears trouble. It's better to solve them all at once now. Okay, kid, you have guts. I'll wait for you in the small fighting arena. If you dare to stand me up, I will kill you even if I have to bear the responsibility of being punished by the school. Yan stretched out his right hand and tapped Huang, then turned around with a grim look and walked towards the fighting arena. The small fighting arena of the academy is a place to resolve disputes, and the academy will not stop it. The bloody news of the arrogant freshman, snatching the goddess' heart, overestimating his own ability, and challenging the fire tyrant spread throughout the Jiazi courtyard in an instant. When Huang walked into the small fighting arena, it was already full. Yan and the teacher in charge of the fighting arena stood on the ring waiting for Huang's arrival. Seeing Huang walking onto the ring, the teacher in charge of the fighting arena was also stunned for a moment. Yan is a frequent visitor here. Seeing so many people coming to watch the game, the teacher thought that the person who would fight against Yan today was some extraordinary figure, but he didn't expect that an unknown boy would come up. Classmate, I am the person in charge of the fighting arena. Liena, are you sure you want to accept classmate Yan's duel request? Teacher Lei, I accept classmate Yan's challenge. You have to think it over clearly. Yan is the third person in our Jiazi courtyard. Liena obviously had a good impression of Huang, a polite child, and couldn't help but say one more word. Mr. Lei, you seem to have talked too much nonsense today. Yan was obviously dissatisfied with Liena's kind reminder to Huang. Thank you for the reminder, teacher. I will protect my safety. Since Huang did not accept his advice, Liena did not say anything more. After all, his words just now had caused Yan's dissatisfaction. As a soul master at the level of soul sect, Liena was also very embarrassed to be scolded by a small soul master. The situation was stronger than the person. Yan was a popular person in the academy, and he could only accept it helplessly. Compared with Huang and Yan's attitude towards him, although Liena could not help him, he specially arranged a healing soul master to wait by the side. After all, if a genius like Huang was beaten to death in the fighting soul field, they would also bear the responsibility of protecting him. Boy, have guts. With your courage, I will definitely spare your life in a while. Yan crossed his hands and shook his neck from side to side, making a crackling sound. Chapter 17. The dog who licks the dog will not die well. You're talking too much nonsense. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, then get out of here. Huang obviously didn't have the time to talk nonsense with a dog. Okay, I hope your physical fitness can be as hard as your teeth. Yan, who was furious, stopped talking harshly. He exerted force on his feet, and kicked Huang's heart with his right foot like a cannonball. Yan wanted to establish his authority, so he used all his strength in this kick. If he was kicked, at least his sternum would be broken, and at most he would die on the spot. Seeing Huang on the stage facing Yan's fierce kick, he didn't move at all. The audience thought Huang was scared, and several girls couldn't bear to see the blood splattering on the spot. so they covered their eyes instead. When Yan's right foot was only about a foot away from Huang, Huang moved. He saw that he slightly turned his body to the side, just avoiding Yan's fatal blow, and his hands reached out to Yan's right foot like lightning. "No, I was careless." Yan obviously realized what Huang was going to do, but in order to achieve the effect of defeating the enemy with one move, he did not retain the strength to fight back. The fight between masters was a matter of seconds. At this time, it was too late for him to retract his right foot that was kicking Huang. He watched helplessly as his right foot was caught by Huang. He wanted to use his left foot to get rid of the restraint, but before he could make the next move, Huang let out a low cry and suddenly exerted force with his arms. Yan's body was thrown out directly and turned several somersaults in the air. Thump, thump, thump. After landing, Yan took several steps back before he could stabilize his body. Although it was only a short contact, Yan could tell from Huang's eyes, movements, and grasp of the timing of his attack that Huang was definitely a master of fighting. "With your strength, you still want to suppress me with force. In the face of absolute strength, all resistance is just a paper tiger. Today I will show you what real killing is." As soon as the voice fell, Huang took a run up, and his whole body flew into the air with the help of inertia, and his arched right knee directly hit Yan's face. With Huang's strength, if this flying knee hit Yan's face, then Yan's face would have no need to be preserved. Huang's speed was too fast, and Yan had no way to avoid it. He could only cross his hands in front of his face to block Huang's flying knee attack. Yan originally thought that he could directly flip Huang out with the strength of his hands, but he still underestimated the power of Huang's attack. Huang's casual attack could push back the ghost whose physical fitness was compressed to the level of Soul Master for several steps, not to mention Yan, who had not yet been promoted to Soul Master. As soon as Huang's knees touched Yan's arms, a crack sound of arms breaking was heard. Then, Yan felt as if he was hit by a 10,000-year-old soul beast. He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and his whole body was thrown out of the ring like a kite with a broken string. This change was so fast that even the students watching below the stage hadn't reacted yet. It wasn't until Yan's body hit the ground with a dull sound that everyone realized that this arrogant guy really had the capital to be arrogant. Seeing Yan fall to the ground, Liena, who was beside him, hurriedly called the healing Soul Master next to him to come forward to treat him. "You go to treat Yan under the ring, and you go to treat Huang on the ring." Hearing Liena's words, Yan's heart was like thousands of grass mud horses galloping through. "I am the one who was injured the most, but you let a Soul Master treat Huang who was unharmed, and let a great Soul Master treat me." After hearing Liena's words, Yan, who was furious, spit out a mouthful of blood again and fainted. Since ancient times, the winner is the king and the loser is the enemy. Everyone watched Huang walk off the ring. Their eyes were no longer filled with ridicule, but with admiration, awe and fear. Huang, Huang, Huang. No one knew who started it, but soon, waves of Huang's name rang out in the small fighting arena. In a secret dark room in the small fighting arena, Liena and her brother Ziyu also witnessed the match. "This guy is indeed qualified to be my brother-in-law." Ziyu nodded secretly in his heart. He had always thought that the scapegoat his sister had found was another fool who was seduced by beauty, but he didn't expect it to be such a powerful character. "Sister, this guy is not bad. You are not young anymore. You can consider it." "Brother, what are you talking about?" "I was just a little annoyed by Yan's entanglement, so I asked Huang to take the blame." "You, don't get me wrong. There is nothing between us. Besides, I am 4 years older than him." Seeing that the sister who was always carefree actually showed shyness in front of him, Ziyu was also shocked. It seems that what his sister said in the cafeteria was not completely false. Age is not a problem. A girl who is 3 years older than her is more likely to get 2 gold bricks. You are 4 years older than her, so you must get 2 gold bricks. Humphrey, how can a brother be so anxious to push his sister out? "I will ignore you." At this time, the blush on Liena's face had already infected her entire neck. She could no longer withstand Ziyu's teasing, and she turned around and ran out with her face covered. This damn girl obviously likes you in her heart. but she still says one thing and means another. Ziyu looked at Liena's figure running out and said with a doting face. Huang in front of the ring obviously didn't know about the conversation between Ziyu and Liena. After walking down the ring, he hurriedly followed Tang San and ran towards the classroom. Yang Wang's shocking blow was still echoing in his mind. They dared not be late. When the four people walked into the classroom breathlessly with the bell ringing, Yang Wang was already waiting for them in the classroom. Today is your first class. To facilitate future teaching, the four of you will demonstrate your martial spirits and spirit powers in turn. Hearing Yang Wang's words, Tang San, Zuzin and Huang did not feel anything wrong. Instead, Yan, who always showed a fierce look, became shy. Tang San, you go first. Yes, teacher. Tang San stepped out of the line and walked to the front of the classroom. Tang San, Martial Spirit Golden Crocodile King, 9th level Combat Spirit Master, please teach me. A Golden Crocodile King phantom appeared behind Tang San. Golden Crocodile King, Martial Spirit City. When Tang San's martial spirit appeared, Huang and the other two had already guessed his identity. In this martial spirit city, the only one who can awaken the Golden Crocodile King is the second worshipper of the worship hall, the Golden Crocodile Duo family. Well, okay, next, Zuzin, you come. Zuzin, Martial Soul Star Crown, 9th level Auxiliary Spirit Master, please teach me. As Zuzin introduced, a strong golden light burst out from his forehead, and then a golden crown with star gems and gorgeous colors appeared on Zuzin's head. Star Crown Martial Soul. Zuzin reported his martial soul, and even Yang Wang's eyes flashed with a gleam. This Star Crown Martial Soul is really too ancient, and he is also the representative of the crown on the Wuhan Hall token. Unlike other auxiliary spirit masters, the Star Crown Martial Soul not only has powerful auxiliary capabilities, but also has powerful attack spirit skills. Chapter 18 Gravity Training. The Star Crown Martial Soul made the basic rule of giving priority to attacking auxiliary spirit masters in the team battle of Duo Continent a complete joke. Star Crown is the real first auxiliary martial soul of Duo Continent. Even the 7 treasures glazed tower and the 9-heart begonia can only admit defeat. More importantly, this martial soul does not need to worry about the problem of spirit rings. As long as the spirit power is reached, he will automatically produce a spirit ring that adapts to the limit of his body. Okay, next, Yan. Hearing Yang Wang calling him, Yan walked out of the team reluctantly. Teacher, can you not summon your martial soul? Seeing Yan's look, Yang Wang thought he was embarrassed to show it because his martial soul was not as good as Tang San and Zuzin. It's okay, kid. Everyone's martial soul has its own strengths. Your initial soul power can reach level 8, which is also a top martial soul. That's right, we are all brothers. Who will laugh at you? But let's make a deal. If any of you laugh at me later, I will beat you up. It seems that he can't escape, so Yan had to bite the bullet and summon his martial soul. Yan, martial soul is the Golden Diamond Mammoth, and a 9th level combat soul master. Boss Yan, you are already a Golden Diamond Mammoth, why are you still hiding it? Yan did not summon his martial soul immediately, and the 3 children urged him again. Now Huang, Tang San and Zuzin were already very curious. They wanted to see what Yan was hiding. Even Yang Wang, who was standing next to him, stared at Yan closely, wanting to know what he was up to. Why are you urging me? Summon it right away. I will beat anyone who laughs at me later. Yan, who had no choice but to speak harshly again, simply closed his eyes and began to summon his martial soul. Come out, Golden Diamond Mammoth. A childish elephant roar sounded, and a baby elephant covered with golden long hair appeared behind Yan. Puff, ha ha. Everyone laughed out loud when they saw the baby elephant behind Yan. Yan's martial soul really did not match the name of the Golden Diamond Mammoth. A trace of regret flashed across Yang Wang's face. Yan also saw that the laughter of several people was not ridicule, but a friendly laugh between friends, and he was relieved. Didn't you say not to laugh? I'll beat you up. Yan ran directly to the middle of the 3 people. Yang Wang did not stop the children from laughing and making noises. After all, this was a way to increase trust. Ahem. After a moment, Yang Huang coughed twice, and the 4 people quickly stopped fighting and stood straight in a row. Well, Yi Huang, it's your turn now. Yes, teacher. Yi Huang, Martial Soul Qirong Tong Shanju, 13th level Auxiliary Spirit Master, please teach me. Fuck. 4th brother, you are actually an auxiliary, and a 13th level auxiliary. As soon as Yi Huang's Auxiliary Spirit Master came out, the scene was turned upside down. When Yi Huang fought Yan today, the 3 guessed that Yi Huang's martial soul was a strong attack system, otherwise how could he have such a powerful fighting technique? Who knew in the end, their little brother turned out to be an Auxiliary Spirit Master, and an Auxiliary Spirit Master whose spirit power was 4 levels higher than theirs. This completely broke their perception that auxiliary training was slow. Looking at the 4 stunning children in front of him, Yang Huang was filled with emotion. If my children were still alive, my grandson would be the same age as these children. Teacher, what should we do next? Tanzan's words interrupted Yang Huang's memories. Well, the martial spirits of you children are all top martial spirits, and I think your family studies are also very profound. I won't tell you those old-fashioned basic knowledge of your martial spirits. As a spirit master, you need to absorb the right spirit rings to exert the power of your martial spirit. If you want to absorb powerful spirit beasts beyond your level, a strong physique is an indispensable part. Our training content today is to exercise in the gravity room. In a gravity environment, human muscles are in an active state for a long time, which can stimulate the potential of the body. Follow me. Yang Huang led everyone through the classroom to a room with numbers on the ground. The floor of the room was divided into 10 areas, each with a number on it. This is the gravity room. The number on each area represents the maximum gravity blessing brought by this area. You can start with 1 times the gravity, slowly adapt to it, and find the most suitable gravity blessing for yourself at the moment. Remember, you must pay attention to the degree, and don't blindly pursue the maximum gravity, causing irreparable damage. Okay, you can enter the gravity area now. After you adapt, follow me and do the same movements. After explaining the precautions, Yang Huang waved his hand, and everyone began to walk into the gravity area one by one. Yi Huang was also trying it for the first time. When his feet entered this double gravity area, he felt his body sink slightly in an instant. In a hurry, the Zisui meridian in his body quickly started to work automatically. Yi Huang felt that his muscles were much more active than usual. It's really a good place to exercise your body. This double gravity did not bring much pressure to Yi Huang. After he understood his physical condition, he raised his legs and touched the double gravity area. The 3 guys who were still struggling under 1 times gravity, watching Yi Huang walking towards 2 times gravity, all called out to Yi Huang in their hearts. Yi Huang's physique was so strong that he could move freely even in the double gravity area. Finally, Yi Huang's step stopped in the area between double gravity and triple gravity. After everyone adjusted their state, Yang Huang began to move, and everyone followed suit. Yang Huang's movements were very simple, but for the few people under the blessing of gravity, their entire bodies, including all internal organs, were underweight, and it was indeed very difficult to do these movements. Except for Yi Huang, every action of the others required several times the usual effort. Half an hour later, when Yang Huang lifted the gravity state of all areas, the 4 people immediately collapsed on the ground. It's not time to rest now. Practice immediately. Don't let your efforts go to waste. The 4 people obviously realized it, and endured the fatigue of their bodies and practiced cross-legged. Yi Huang quickly summoned his martial spirit to help his teammates recover. As Yi Huang's first soul skill was activated, 3 golden chrysanthemum marks flew out from the strange chrysanthemum spinning above Yi Huang's head, and landed on the eyebrows of Tang San, Zuzin and Huyan respectively. They immediately felt a pure soul power entering their bodies along the chrysanthemum mark. The 3 of them were overjoyed and immediately concentrated on practicing. Chapter 19. The frog is back again. While the 3 were admiring Yi Huang's powerful auxiliary soul skills, a new discovery also made Yi Huang excited. When he applied the first soul skill to Tang San, Zuzin and Huyan, A mysterious feeling instantly appeared in his mind. The thoughts in the minds of the four people actually formed a shared circle. In this shared circle, everyone can know what each other is thinking at the moment. Old Four, we will follow you in the future. Your soul skills are too awesome. When the four people woke up from their practice, Tang San, Zuzan and Huang looked at Huang like a bachelor who had been single for decades seeing a new wife. Don't look at me like that. I like women and I'm not interested in you. TSK. The three heard Huang's words and raised their middle fingers to him. There is no shortcut to Soul Master practice. This painful and happy practice life has become the main theme of the four people. Every day, except cleaning the sanitation area they are responsible for and eating, the four people spend almost all their time in the gravity room. With the help of Huang's heaven-defying soul skill, the soul power of several people increased rapidly. Time passed quickly, and it has been 2 weeks since they came to the Soul Master Academy. Tang San also became the first lucky person among the remaining 3 to break through to level 10. As soon as the weekend came, he ran back to Wuhan City early to tell his family the good news. Tang San's breakthrough further stimulated Zuzan and Huang's competitive spirit. The two did not even leave the house on the weekend and plunged into the gravity room. Looking at the empty dormitory, Huang was also ready to pack up and go home. He hadn't seen Bibi Dong for half a month, and he still missed her very much. Just as he was about to go out, the familiar system sound rang in Huang's mind again. Ding dong. Your kid is back before he died. As soon as the prompt sound fell, the frog kid wearing a bamboo hat, a Superman suit, and a big bag on his back jumped in front of Huang. Seeing the big bag on the frog boy, Huang's face showed great joy. Just looking at this big bag, this frog boy must have stolen a lot of things when he came back this time. Your kid visited the Wet Bone Forest, the immortal home of the Naruto world before dying, and brought you the immortal physique of the Six Paths Sage. May I ask if the master wants to fuse it now? Nima, it's actually an immortal physique. This time it's really developed. The immortal physique in the Naruto world represents vigorous vitality and strong recovery ability. This thing is many times stronger than the immortal grass Girong Tong Shanju fusion. In an instant, Huang only felt that his body was wrapped in a warm force. His whole body was warm and sunny, and the blood and chi in his body made a gurgling sound. Haha, great, you kid has done a great job. I will definitely make you something delicious when I go back today. After getting this immortal body, Huang did not intend to ask what else was hidden in the kid's bag. He directly put it into his soul guide and happily rushed to Bibi Dong's residence. Anyway, the soul guide that Bibi Dong gave Huang could hold living things, so Huang was not afraid that his kid would suffocate to death in it. Huang ran all the way and soon arrived at the villa on the top of the mountain. Teacher, I'm back, Huang shouted before he walked into the door. Hearing Huang's shout, Liena jumped out of the room and looked at Huang, who came in with surprise. Little junior brother, you're back. Perhaps she thought of something, and when she saw Huang coming in, Liena's face actually flashed a blush. Hello, little senior sister, where is master sister? Huang obviously did not notice Liena's abnormality, and asked where Bibi Dong was. Master is inside. Then I'll go in. Hearing Bibi Dong in the room, Huang walked inside without stopping. Master, I know master, am I not as beautiful as master? Except that my thing is not as big as master's. How am I not as good as master? Can master accompany you for a lifetime? Seeing Huang running into the room happily, the joy on Liena's face disappeared. Her sexy mouth pouted high, and she walked into the room with a hint of disappointment. Master sister, your obedient disciple is back. Huang pounced directly and got into Bibi Dong's arms. You kid, how many times have I told you that you should call me master, not sister? Bibi Dong stretched out her jade finger and pointed it on Huang's forehead, lovingly correcting Huang's address. Okay, master sister, I will pay attention next time. This happened many times. Every time Bibi Dong corrected him, Huang promised to change it next time. But when they met next time, he would still call her master sister. This also became the opening line of every exchange between Bibi Dong and Huang. Liena, who came in from behind, looked at Yi Huang's happy look in Bibi Dong's arms, and a feeling of jealousy rose in her heart. "Little junior brother, get up quickly, master's arms are mine." Yi Huang not only did not give up, but also hugged Bibi Dong's waist tightly with both hands and made faces at Liena, in revenge for Liena's hurt to him in the cafeteria last time. "Lulilu, I won't let you go, I won't let you go." "Humphrey, okay, since you won't let you go, then I won't be polite." Liena also imitated Yi Huang's just now and pounced directly on Bibi Dong. Liena directly pressed on Yi Huang's body, and the little bun also rested on Yi Huang's face. Yi Huang, who felt suffocated, shook his head randomly, and suddenly a strange feeling spread throughout Liena's body. The whole body was numb and had no strength. Feeling itchy in the heart, Liena was reluctant to leave. The three of them played around for a while. Bibi Dong asked about Yi Huang's study with great concern. When she heard that he had improved another level in less than 3 weeks, she was also secretly surprised at the strength of his first soul skill. Seeing that it was noon, Bibi Dong and Liena began to look at Yi Huang with expectation. Yi Huang certainly understood what they meant, and got up and walked to the kitchen. Bibi Dong knew that Yi Huang was coming back, and had already prepared the ingredients. She had prepared some of the flying things in the sky, swimming things in the water, and running things on the road. This was also because she met Yi Huang, the cooking god. Bibi Dong's original kitchen only had vegetables, tomatoes and eggs. Yi Huang's actions were very fast. When Liena entered the kitchen for the 3rd time, the meal was also in the final stage. Today, 3 dishes and 1 soup were made: sweet and sour fish, braised shrimps, mushrooms and rapeseed, and a dessert after the meal, dreamless soup for beauty and skin care. When all the dishes were placed on the table, Yi Huang remembered the kid he had put into the soul guide. The kid was obviously very unhappy with Yi Huang for locking him in the dark room. When he came out, his stomach was bloated. He pulled out the iron sword attached to his red shorts and stabbed Yi Huang twice. Chapter 20 Soul Bone. "Junior brother, is this your pet?" Liena asked curiously, looking at the strange-looking frog standing next to Yi Huang. "Well, I guess so." "So cute." Bibi Dong and Liena were stunned when they saw the frog taking off its hat, pulling the plate in front of Yi Huang to its front, and eating the food on the plate with a knife and fork. They couldn't figure out how Yi Huang had tamed a frog to be so smart. It seemed that the IQ of this little guy was higher than that of a 10,000-year soul beast. The frog obviously didn't know what courtesy was, and kept eating the food on the plate, working hard to exert the potential of a foodie. Every time the food on the plate was eaten up, it would make a goo-goo-goo sound, urging Yi Huang to add more food to its plate. By the time Bibi Dong and Liena came to their senses, the frog had already eaten more than half of the food on the plate. "Stinky frog, you are just like Yi Huang. You don't know how to be gentle with women. Don't you see the 2 beauties next to you?" Yi Huang was also very speechless. He didn't expect that he would be shot while lying down. Liena also joined the ranks of grabbing food. Even Bibi Dong, who always chewed slowly, ate a little faster. Maybe Bibi Dong and Liena didn't meet the aesthetic taste of the frog. After a meal, the frog didn't mean to stay at all. He put down the tableware, put on his hat, jumped off the table, and walked away. "Ding dong, your kid left before death. The return date is uncertain. Don't worry, master." Seeing the kid go out and disappear, Liena asked Yi Huang curiously again. "Little junior brother, what is your pet going to do?" "Oh, it's going to travel to the world." Yi Huang didn't hide it and said frankly. "Tsk." Liena obviously didn't believe Yi Huang's words. Seeing Liena's face full of doubts, Yi Huang didn't explain too much. After all, this matter was too bizarre. If it hadn't happened to him, Yi Huang himself probably wouldn't believe it. After dinner, the 3 of them sat in the sun and ate desserts after dinner, enjoying the beauty of life. Looking at Liena and Yi Huang beside her, Bibi Dong suddenly thought of something. "Nana, Huanger, master has gifts for you." "Master sister, what gifts are you going to give us?" Sure enough, bad habits are contagious. In half a day, the teacher in Liena's mouth also became master sister, and she was successfully led astray by Yi Huang. "Look." Bibi Dong waved her hand, and two balls of things with a misty breath appeared on the table. This is a soul bone, Liena screamed in surprise. This soul bone is a scarce thing. Even Bibi Dong doesn't have many. This move is 2 pieces, which shows her love for the 2 people. Nana, this 70,000-year-old 9-tailed fox's external soul bone is for you. Huang, this 60,000-year-old giant bull demon's torso soul bone is for you. Bibi Dong pointed to a gray and a khaki soul bone on the table and said, "Thank you, Master Sister." Liena and Huang hurriedly thanked her. "While we still have time, you two should absorb this soul bone. Nana, you go first." "Yes, Master." Liena sat down quickly. There was no danger in absorbing soul bones. In an hour, Liena had absorbed them all. "Nana, show us your soul bone skills." Liena summoned her martial spirit, the demon fox, and demonstrated the power of her 9-tailed fox's external soul bone on the spot. Liena's demon fox tail quickly grew longer, reaching an astonishing 5 meters in length, and was very flexible, like an omnipotent whip. This is not all. When Liena input soul power into the tail, the extremely soft hair on the fox tail instantly became as hard as steel needles, and immediately transformed from a soft fox tail into a ferocious-looking mace. "Well, good. With this soul bone, Nana's safety is also guaranteed." Bibi Dong looked at the soul skills attached to Liena's soul bone and nodded with satisfaction. "Huang, it's your turn now." Bibi Dong picked up the khaki torso bone and waved at Huang. "Yes, Master." Huang sat cross-legged, and Bibi Dong personally attached the soul bone to his spine. However, the expected scene of the soul bone attached to Huang's spine did not appear. Bibi Dong tried again and again, but still failed, and finally had to give up helplessly. "Hey, Huang, get up. This soul bone is not suitable for you." "Master, can't everyone absorb soul bones? Why can't my junior brother absorb it?" Liena was full of questions. "That's because your junior brother's physique is too special. This soul bone cannot be recognized by his martial soul, so it cannot be absorbed." Bibi Dong said something that only she and Huang could understand. "Oh, no wonder Grandpa Yuan has no soul bones. It turns out that his physique is too special." Liena obviously misunderstood what Bibi Dong meant. Huang also understood the secret after hearing Bibi Dong's explanation. He once heard Bibi Dong say that a soul master like him with an extreme martial soul cannot absorb ordinary soul bones. If he wants to absorb, he can only absorb soul bones of the same level as his martial soul. Huang originally thought it was a rumor, but after testing it today, it seems that the rumor is not groundless. "Huang, don't be discouraged. Master will find a way for you." Fearing that Huang would be sad, Bibi Dong hugged Huang in her arms and comforted him. "Master Sister, it's okay. With my strength, I can be a titled duo without soul bones." Huang's confident look also made Bibi Dong feel relieved. "Junior Sister, since Master Sister gave you a gift, I will give you one today." "Really? What gift? Where is it? Take it out." As soon as Huang finished speaking, the happy Liena jumped in front of Huang and fumbled around on his body. Huang even suspected that Liena was just trying to take advantage of him. Liena searched Huang's body, and even the soul guide didn't find any gift. Her eyes were suddenly filled with mist. "Humphrey, you just know how to bully me and have fun with me." Liena was sure that Huang was teasing her. "How dare I?" "Here you are." Fearing that Liena would cry, Huang hurriedly put a thread-bound ancient book in Liena's hands. "What is this? Last time you came back from hunting soul beasts, didn't you clamor to learn the bodybuilding exercises from me? I came back in a hurry last time, and I didn't have time to teach you before you reported to the academy. I have time this time. Junior brother is always the best to me. Long live junior brother." Liena's face brightened instantly, and her mouth felt as sweet as honey. Chapter 21, Transmission of Power. "You two can study slowly. I'm going to the Pope's palace first." Bibi Dong's physique is already strong enough, and she doesn't need other bodybuilding exercises to strengthen her body. There have been too many things in the spirit hall recently, and being able to stay here for half a day is already her limit. "Master Sister, goodbye." After Bibi Dong left, Liena was still a little happy in her heart. Finally, she had the opportunity to stay with Huang alone for a while. Ever since her brother Ziyu gave her that suggestion last time, Liena's heart was actually a little moved. She happily opened the thread-bound book, and the smile on her face froze instantly, and she could no longer be happy. She even changed her face to an expression of wanting to cry but not tears, because she didn't recognize the words on the book that Huang gave her. Sorry, I used an ancient text to record it in order to prevent it from being accidentally lost and taken away by others. Huang's explanation was reasonable. After all, no one wanted to know this powerful technique. Huang didn't intend to teach Liena this kind of text. The text is so profound that even Huang, who had gone through 9 years of compulsory education, only learned the basics. Let me teach you myself. Huang walked to Liena, took the thread-bound book from her hand, and began to teach her bit by bit. The Washing Marrow Sutra is the crystallization of the wisdom of the ancestors of Blue Star, and how can it be learned in one go? After struggling for most of the day, Liena didn't even remember the acupuncture points of the Washing Marrow Sutra. In order to make Liena deeply feel the corresponding position of each acupuncture point on the body, Huang had to do it himself, using Liena as a human model, and pointed out the location of the acupuncture points on her body. This is Baiui, this is Danzong, and this is. When Huang saw the location of the 4th acupuncture point recorded in the book, he couldn't do it, because that location was in the soft part in front of Liena. Why did you stop? Huang stretched out his finger and stood there awkwardly, and Liena's face was full of confusion. Sister, I think we should forget it. Why don't you take it back and figure it out slowly by yourself? Why are you like that? How can you stop teaching halfway? She was a little unhappy when she heard that Huang was unwilling to teach her. She was not unhappy because Huang was unwilling to teach her the bodybuilding exercises. She was subconsciously unhappy because she lost the opportunity to be alone with Huang. Sister, it's not that I don't want to teach you, but there is a difference between men and women. The next acupuncture point is here. Helplessly, Huang pointed at the position on his chest. Seeing the position Huang pointed, Liena's face flushed instantly, and then her eyes became firm again. You can continue teaching. I don't object. Maybe it was because of nervousness or something else. Liena's voice was a little trembling. Hurry up. Why are you like a woman, nagging? In order to cheer herself up, Liena even straightened the little bun in front of her. Having said that, Huang no longer hesitated. This is the Tanchiaku point. Huang quickly touched this soft spot and continued to teach. Liena was just a girl who had just begun to fall in love. It was the first time that a boy touched her there, not to mention the one she had thoughts about. The moment Huang's finger touched it, Liena couldn't help but let out a charming sound of dot. Seeing Liena lowering her head and blushing, Huang gave up the idea of continuing to teach her. Liena's mind was no longer on it, and it would be futile to teach her further. This was just the first insignificant position, and Liena was so excited. When it came to the shank and perineum positions below, it would be even more difficult to start. How should I teach? Huang sat there and pondered. Why not just forget it? Liena felt distressed when Huang thought hard. Oh, how could I forget about this? Huang slapped his head and said with great regret, Haha, I have a solution. Huang suddenly thought of an alternative duel cultivation method recorded on the last page of the Zisui Sutra, which could help Liena to practice the bodybuilding skills in the Zisui Sutra more quickly. Although Huang needed to practice the Zisui Sutra again after the transfer, he was not worried. After all, he had now integrated the immortal body that Frog brought back from the Naruto world. Huang carefully studied the last page of the method of transferring skills and found that it would not cause any harm to Liena. After that, the two of them sat cross-legged facing each other and prepared. Little senior sister, don't be nervous. You will follow my rhythm and feel it carefully. Yes. Huang and Liena held their hands tightly together. Let's start. Huang transferred his internal force to his right hand, and slowly introduced it into Liena's body along their tightly held right hands. In an instant, Liena felt a warm breath flowing along her arm and slowly spreading to other parts of her body. After all, Liena's physical fitness was there. It was smooth at the beginning, but after passing Baiyue and Danzong, it became difficult. It's not that it's difficult to open up the meridians, but Huang's internal strength is too weak. It's not unreasonable to practice for decades in the novels of the previous life before passing on the skills. Huang worked hard to open up one meridian after another. At this time, Huang was already exhausted. His face had become very pale, and large beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. Seeing Huang's current appearance, Liena's heart was like a knife, and she secretly regretted that she shouldn't let Huang help her practice the body. She said to Huang with a crying voice, "Junior brother, stop. I don't want to learn anymore." "Don't. You can't give up all your previous efforts. Believe me, you will succeed." Now only the Chiaku point on Liena's left hand has not been opened. If you give up this time, it will be even more difficult to open it next time. At this time, Huang's condition is extremely poor, his vitality is also extremely weak, and his whole body exudes a decayed smell. Liena, who is opposite, bit her lips tightly with her pearly teeth, for fear of making a slight movement and disturbing Huang. "Do I have to give up?" "No, retreating when faced with difficulties is not my code of conduct. Open it for me." Huang's face instantly became ferocious, squeezing out the last bit of internal strength in his body and rushing towards Liena's Chiaku point. Boom! A powerful breath poured out from Liena's left hand. Success! A thought flashed through Huang's mind, and before he could be happy, his eyes went black and he fell into endless darkness. At the moment he fainted, he vaguely heard a worried call. Then he felt that he had fallen on Liena's soft body with a faint fragrance. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Awakening. Huang didn't know how long he had been unconscious. In the dimness, he felt someone wiping his face. He slowly opened his somewhat weak eyes, turned his eyes and looked to the side, only to see Liena with messy hair holding a warm towel, gently helping him moisten his lips that were cracked due to dehydration. From Liena's bloodshot eyes and the clear tears on her face, it can be seen that she had a very tormenting night. "Junior brother, you're awake." Seeing Huang open his eyes, Liena shouted excitedly. Huang wanted to sit up, but his whole body couldn't move at all. "Don't move, I'll do it." Liena also saw Huang's intention, and hurried forward, hugged Huang's body, gently pulled forward, and gently leaned Huang's upper body against the head of the bed. She also picked up the quilt next to her and put it behind Huang, just like what Huang did to her in the Soul Beast Forest. "Sister, how long have I been unconscious?" Huang's voice sounded a little hoarse after not drinking a drop of water for a day. "It's already the next morning. You almost scared me to death." Liena couldn't stop crying as she said that, and her tears rolled down like beads from a broken string. After all, she was only 12 years old, and she was of course nervous when she encountered such an emergency. She ran to the Pope's palace like crazy and asked Bibi Dong for help. It was not until Bibi Dong found someone to see and concluded that Huang was just unconscious due to exhaustion that Liena felt a little better. All the fear, worry, heartache, and regret of the night burst out at the moment when Huang woke up. Huang did not stop Liena from crying. After all, she had been suppressed for too long, and it was better to vent it out than to hold it in her heart. "Are you hungry? I cooked some lean meat porridge." Liena, who had almost vented her emotions, suddenly remembered that Huang had not eaten anything since yesterday afternoon, and hurriedly wiped the tears from her face and asked. Before Huang could answer, his stomach stood up to protest. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Liena burst into laughter instantly. "Wait a minute, I'll go get the porridge." After a while, Liena returned to Huang's bedroom with 2 bowls of lean meat porridge. She picked up one of the bowls, picked up the spoon and scooped some porridge, then blew it gently to her mouth. When she felt it was not too hot, she put the spoon to Huang's mouth. "I can do it myself." Huang, who has always been independent, is obviously not used to being served by others. That won't do, you're a patient now, open your mouth quickly. Ah, seeing Liena coaxing him like a child, Huang could only let her go. How is it? How does it taste? Liena asked hurriedly when Huang had just swallowed the first mouthful of porridge. Well, it tastes okay. Looking at Liena's expectant eyes, Huang tasted the rice porridge in his mouth and said. Hearing Huang's words, Liena's heart sank. After all, it was her first time to make porridge, and she was making porridge for the man in her heart. Of course, she didn't want to hear words like it didn't taste good. It tastes good. Just drink more. Liena fed Huang spoonful after spoonful with a happy face, until the full bowl was eaten by Huang. She picked up another bowl and started to eat, but Liena couldn't eat it after just a few mouthfuls of the porridge she made. It was really that the taste of her porridge was too different from that of Huang. You only know how to make me happy, it doesn't taste good at all. After drinking a few mouthfuls of the porridge in her bowl, Liena said sullenly, how can I make you happy? I just think it tastes good. If you don't drink it, I will drink up the rest. It's a shameful waste. Huang, who had recovered his strength, picked up the lean meat porridge that Liena had left and drank it with big gulps of a spoon. Hey, that's my spoon. So what if it's your spoon? I don't dislike you. Huang ate with relish. Liena's pretty face turned red instantly and she began to have wild thoughts in her mind. Junior brother, you are drinking porridge with the spoon I used. Does this count as an indirect kiss? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. While Liena was thinking about it, Huang had already drunk up all the remaining rice porridge of Liena. Burp. I'm so full. Lie down first. I'll go wash the dishes. Fearing that Huang might notice something, Liena picked up 2 bowls, turned around and fled out of Huang's bedroom without looking back. When Liena came back from the kitchen, Huang had fallen asleep again. Looking at Huang's peaceful sleeping posture, Liena's heart moved, and she walked to the bed, lowered her head and pecked Huang gently on the cheek. Now that Huang has woken up safely, Liena's fatigue also hit her heart. She couldn't hold on any longer, so she simply snuggled up to Huang and fell into a deep sleep. After sleeping for an unknown period of time, Liena woke up. She opened her eyes and saw that she didn't know when, but her whole body was snuggled in Huang's arms. Guilty. She turned her head and saw that her cherry lips had brushed against Huang's lips again by accident. Liena quickly fled from Huang. You, awake? Huang rubbed his stiff arms. Yeah. Liena let out a sound not much louder than a mosquito. I'm so embarrassed that I ran into the arms of my junior brother and kissed him while he was awake. The bedroom fell into silence for a moment, and neither of them knew what to say. Are you feeling better? Have you learned the body refining exercises? The two people's caring words to each other instantly broke the awkward atmosphere. Well, there's nothing wrong with my body, I'm just weak. After eating the porridge you made, my whole body is full of strength. Huang stood on the bed, exposing his arms and posing a strong and powerful posture to prove to Liena that he had fully recovered. Hee ha. Liena was instantly amused by Huang's funny appearance. Junior brother, the body refining exercises you passed on to me are so powerful. I feel that my physical strength has doubled now than before. That's right. If it wasn't powerful, would I risk passing it on to you? Junior brother, promise me that you will never take risks again next time. If I need you to take risks in order for me to become stronger, I would rather not have this strength. Well, I promise there won't be a next time, Huang quickly assured the serious-looking Liena. Thinking about the original scene, Huang was also scared. He didn't want to do such a thing a second time. Now that his body was healed, Huang and Liena didn't want to waste time. They sat directly on the bed to practice. Liena claimed that Huang's soul skills could make her practice faster, so she didn't leave Huang's bedroom, and practiced directly next to Huang. In fact, because the gap in soul power between the two was too big, the help Huang gave her could be said to be negligible. She said this just to find an excuse to stay with Huang for a while longer. How could Huang not know Liena's little thoughts? Of course, he would not refuse such a gentle girl. Chapter 23 Departure to the Soul Hunting Forest. When you were at ease doing something, time always flies fast. When Liena and Huang woke up from their practice, it was already the next morning. Today was Monday, and they had to go back to the academy for class. The two simply ate something and rushed to the academy. This time, the two did not walk separately. Since the last cafeteria incident, the whole academy knew that Liena was the marriage arranged by Huang's parents. Besides, he also felt Liena's feelings for him when he came back this time. When he came to the academy, Huang didn't even go back to the dormitory, but went straight to the gravity training room. As expected, when Huang walked into the gravity training room, he found Tang San, Zuzin and Huang chatting and laughing inside. From their smiles that could not be concealed, Huang had guessed roughly. "Oh, our fourth child finally came out of the gentle land." Huang was teased by the second child Tang San as soon as he walked into the door. When he came out of the worship hall today, he clearly saw Liena and Huang walking into the academy hand in hand. When Tang San returned home this time, he also learned from his grandfather, Golden Crocodile Luo, that Huang was Bibi Dong's disciple. This matter was no secret to Golden Crocodile Luo, who was the second elder of the Spirit Hall. Although the worship hall and the Pope Hall had always been at odds, Golden Crocodile Luo was an old hand who did things flawlessly. He did not offend either side. When he heard that his grandson was on good terms with Huang, he did not object. Huang's first soul skill did help Tang San a lot. Although it was only a 10% increase, it was a considerable gain over time. Huang did not explain Tang San's ridicule. Instead, he turned around and congratulated Huang and Zuzin. "Congratulations to the eldest and the third brother for being promoted to Soul Masters. Fourth brother, how did you know about our promotion when you first came?" Huang asked with curiosity. "Haha, big brother, your mouth is almost stretched to the back of your head. How can the fourth brother not see it?" "Me, have you? Whether you have or not, you can find out by looking in the mirror in front of you." While the four of them were teasing each other, Yang Huang also walked into the gravity training room. "Hello, teacher. Zuzin and I have also cultivated our soul power to level 10. Before Yang Huang could speak, Huang couldn't wait to tell him the good news. His meaning was very clear, that is, to tell Yang Huang that it was time to lead them to the soul hunting forest to hunt for soul rings. No wonder Huang was so impatient. Among the four people in the dormitory, the fourth brother Huang had already obtained his first soul ring before entering school. The second brother Tang San, when he just reached level 10 a few days ago, just went home on the weekend, and was taken out by his grandfather to hunt a 500-year-old dragon soul beast crocodile dragon, and obtained a powerful attack soul skill. Speaking of the third brother Zuzin, Huang was even more furious. This morning, it was clearly Huang who had reached level 10 a few minutes earlier, but before he could be happy, a dazzling yellow soul ring naturally appeared on Zuzin's body. Among the four people in the dormitory, 3 have become soul masters, and only Huang is still a soul warrior. How can he, the head of the dormitory, put his face? "Well, congratulations, you can reach level 10 in such a short time, which is inseparable from your usual hard work." Yang Huang said encouraging words. He saw the efforts of several people and remembered them in his heart. "Since Huang needs to hunt soul beasts, I will go to the school's academic center to apply for a carriage now. You should go back to the dormitory and prepare things now. In a while, the four of you can follow the school's carriage to the nearby soul hunting forest to hunt the designated soul beasts." Yang Huang hurriedly walked out of the gravity room and walked towards the direction of the academic center. Hearing Yang Huang say that they can set out to hunt soul beasts in a while, the faces of the remaining 3 people except Huang showed excitement, especially Huang and Zuzin, 2 guys who had never been to the soul hunting forest and seen the world. When they were preparing things, they wanted to take everything in the dormitory with them. The efficiency of the Wuhan Hall Academy was still very fast. After a while, Yang Huang and a teacher who led the team came to the door of the dormitory with an exquisite carriage. "This is Li Ming, the teacher who led your team this time." Teacher Li Ming is a level 63 Battle Soul Emperor. He will be responsible for your safety along the way. "Hello, Teacher Li." The 4 people hurriedly greeted Li Ming. "Well, hello, Classmates. As an old hand who has been active in Wuhan City for a long time, he did not put on airs when facing Huang and the four geniuses. Generally speaking, when their students reach a certain level and need to hunt soul beasts, they are accompanied by their teachers. But Huang is an exception. For some reasons, he cannot leave the Wuhan Hall Academy without the approval of the worship hall. This time, hunting soul beasts requires the cooperation of the four of you. Unless there is a life-threatening situation, Teacher Liena will not take action. Okay, you can get on the carriage, and remember to pay attention to safety. Huang gave the final instructions. When the four people got on the carriage, Liena shouted, and the carriage quickly drove away from the Spirit Hall Academy. The Spirit Hall is rich and powerful, and the four people did not feel the slightest bump in the carriage. Before coming, Huang had already confirmed with Huang that the soul beast to be hunted this time was a 450-year-old giant elephant. After the four people got on the carriage, they began to discuss how to cooperate in hunting soul beasts this time. Although it was a discussion among four people, it would be better to say that Huang was the only one who followed his lead. After these days of getting along, Huang, who has more than 20 years of experience, has completely conquered the three of them. Fourth brother, you tell me what to do. We will all listen to you. Since everyone listens to me, let's report our soul skills first, so that everyone can know what to do when cooperating. Second brother, tell me what your first soul skill is first. My first soul skill is the golden crocodile claw, which can double my attack power. The wound torn by the crocodile claw will bleed and be difficult to heal. Third brother, what is your soul skill? My first soul skill is the nebula chain. I can use the star power to transform into a nebula chain. It can not only bind the enemy but also hover around me for defense. Among the three of us, I have the best physical fitness. I am responsible for frontal attacks and attract the attention of the giant elephant. Second brother is responsible for sneak attacks. Give this giant elephant a few more claws. Third brother, try your best to control the giant elephant's actions and find a way to trip its limbs to create opportunities for me and the second brother. Hearing Huang's words, the three of them also felt that this was the most reliable plan at present. Since the plan was finalized, the four of them no longer wasted time and each found a corner to practice as soon as possible. Chapter 24 Hunting the Giant Elephant. After a day and a night of travel, everyone finally arrived at the soul hunting forest on the edge of the Xingluo Empire. Almost two-thirds of the area on the Duo continent is covered by various forests. Civilians living on the edge of the forest are often harassed by various soul beasts that walk out of the forest, and their lives are miserable. They also thought about moving, but the cost of relocation is simply not something these ordinary people can afford. Although the Spirit Hall has communicated with the two empires many times, hoping that they will send troops to garrison on the edge of each soul beast forest to protect the interests of the surrounding people. However, the royal families of the Tandu Empire and the Xingluo Empire have always been indifferent. They only pay attention to the interests of the nobles and clans, and they don't care about the lives of these civilians. In desperation, the Spirit Hall can only send soul masters to the edges of several soul hunting forests closest to human settlements to protect the people in these places from being harassed by soul beasts. Everyone bought some supplies in a village closest to the edge of the soul hunting forest. The people in several nearby villages rely on soul masters who come to the soul hunting forest to hunt soul beasts to survive. Although the harvest is quite rich, it is always accompanied by risks. When you meet those arrogant noble soul masters, sometimes you not only cannot make money, but you may also lose your life. Li Ming left the carriage at a commoner's home, and took Huang and others to walk to the entrance of the soul hunting forest a few hundred meters away. When they arrived at the entrance, Huang found that there were not only soul masters who hunted soul beasts, but also many ordinary people without soul power queuing to enter the soul hunting forest. Teacher, what are these ordinary people doing in the soul hunting forest? Aren't they afraid of death? Live by the mountain and eat by the mountain, live by the sea and eat by the sea. Although this soul hunting forest is dangerous, it grows all kinds of delicious mountain delicacies and fungi. These delicacies are the favorites of those imperial soul masters. For the rich profits, There are still many ordinary people who take risks to collect them in the soul-hunting forest. Sure enough, when Huang and others walked to the entrance, they saw several ordinary people with injuries all over their bodies at the exit, selling the mountain delicacies they collected to the grocery merchants who came to collect the goods. The soul masters guarding the door did not ask anything about these ordinary people coming in and out. They are only responsible for preventing the soul beasts from leaving the forest and disturbing the lives of the people. Whether people who enter the forest live or die is their own choice and has nothing to do with them. When they arrived at the entrance, Li Ming put 5 silver soul coins into the cash box at the entrance. Ordinary people can enter and exit freely for free, but soul masters who enter the soul-hunting forest to hunt must pay a silver soul coin fee each. This money is used to maintain the daily expenses of these guardian soul masters and to hire people from the surrounding areas to help patrol and build fences in the soul-hunting forest. 1 silver soul coin is a lot for ordinary people, but for these soul masters, it is not even the price of a meal, so they don't care at all. The big trees in the entire soul-hunting forest are so dense that they almost block most of the sunlight that shines into the forest. When Li Ming led the 4 people into the soul-hunting forest, the 4 people instantly felt a dark feeling in front of their eyes. Light the torches. Everyone lit the torches according to Li Ming's instructions and walked towards the pre-planned route. Teacher, isn't it said that you should try not to use fire in the soul-hunting forest? Huang, who entered the soul-hunting forest for the first time, was like a curious baby. In principle, you cannot start a fire when you enter the soul-hunting forest, so as not to attract the attention of other soul beasts. But the oldest soul beast in the soul-hunting forest we are in today is only about 5,000 years old. I can't hurt you at all. It is beneficial for Li Ming to be friends with these geniuses, so he answered all of Huang's questions. As the few people went deeper, the forest became lively. At night, all kinds of soul beasts came out to move around, and all kinds of calls were heard one after another. But when the few people walked further inside, the calls around suddenly became much less. Several people even felt a regular vibration coming from their feet from time to time. Extinguish the torches in your hands. Hearing Li Ming's words, everyone quickly extinguished the torches in their hands and looked forward along the gaps between the leaves. They saw an elephant about 3 meters tall with yellowish-brown glow on its body lying on the ground to rest. The vibration under their feet was caused by the breathing of the giant elephant. Li Mingzhou immediately summoned his spirit, the grizzly bear, with 6 spirit rings, 1 white, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black, hovering over his body. When Li Ming summoned his spirit, Huang and the others also summoned their spirits one after another. My mission is to protect your safety. Now you can enter this area to hunt the giant elephant. As he spoke, Li Ming hid his figure in the dense bushes, staring at the 4 people's every move, ready to take action at any time. Second brother, third brother, you protect the safety of the eldest brother. I will go to weigh the weight of this giant elephant. You all provide support on the side. As he spoke, Huang took a few steps, exerted force on his feet, and his body flew into the air. His feet alternately stepped on the towering tree trunks around him, and he pounced on the sleeping giant elephant. Although the giant elephant was lying down to sleep, its alertness was very high. Although it was snoring, any movement around it would be fed back to its ears by the regular breathing vibrations of the giant elephant. When it saw the short Huang invading its territory, it stood up and howled, and the sharp tusks on its mouth, like scimitars, stabbed at Huang. Seeing the tusks stabbing at him, Huang was not panicked, nor did he dodge at all. He turned his body to the side and grabbed the huge tusks of the giant elephant at the moment when it was exhausted. He threw his hands hard and jumped directly onto the back of the giant elephant. "Ha!" Huang shouted loudly, and punched the back of the giant elephant with his right fist. Bang! A sound came. Huang was almost knocked off the elephant's back by the recoil of this punch. What a strong defense! Huang's eyes condensed. With his current strong physique, this punch had at least 1,000 pounds of force, but it only left a shallow white mark on the back of the giant elephant. The giant elephant saw that his tusks not only did not hurt the little bug in front of him, but also let it take the opportunity to climb onto his back and punch him. He instantly became angry. Roar! He roared, and his thick trunk swept towards Huang on his back with a whistling sound. Seeing the thick trunk sweeping towards Huang, Zhu Xin, who had been prepared on the side, hurried to help Huang. First soul skill, Nebula Chain. The gem on Zhu Xin's martial soul star crown lit up, and a chain made of starlight quickly wrapped around the elephant's trunk. Chapter 25 Group Attack Skill, War Trampling. Taking advantage of the moment when the giant elephant's trunk was restrained by Zhu Xin's soul skill, Huang held a dagger in his hand and quickly moved his whole body towards the giant elephant's head. This giant elephant was very difficult to deal with, and its only fatal weakness was under the tuft of white hair on its forehead. But before Huang could reach the top of its head, the giant elephant's trunk suddenly exerted force, pulled hard, and then swung it suddenly, and Zhu Xin was pulled directly into the tree next to him. Crack! The small tree as thick as an arm was directly broken by Zhu Xin, who was thrown out, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The thick elephant trunk was no longer restrained, and it came back with a sound of breaking through the air, and whipped Huang on its back. The opportunity has come. When the giant elephant raised its head, the yellow soul ring on Tang San's body lit up. The claws of the golden crocodile king instantly doubled in size, and the nails on the fingertips were like sharp knives, shining with a little cold light. First soul skill, golden crocodile claw. You beast, give me your life. Tang San pounced and slid to the lower jaw of the giant elephant. The huge crocodile claw slashed at the lower jaw of the giant elephant. Hiss! A tooth-grinding sound rang out at the lower jaw of the giant elephant. The lower jaw was torn open by Tang San's crocodile claw, and blood instantly spilled all over the ground. Tang San's attack not only did not frighten the giant elephant, but aroused its ferocity. Suddenly, its front legs were raised high, and a yellow halo burst out from its body. Be careful, this is the innate talent of the giant elephant. War Trampling. Seeing the soul skill used by the giant elephant, Li Ming, who was next to him, was afraid that the children would suffer, so he hurriedly warned. Roar! The giant elephant let out another angry howl, and raised its front hoof high and stomped on the ground. Boom! The ground cracked instantly. Dust splashed everywhere. The dust dispersed, and at a glance, all the trees in the yellow light circle were uprooted, and the entire ground seemed to have been turned over. Huang, who was on the elephant's back, was also blown away by this soul skill, and his body rolled several times and landed in a bush. The giant elephant obviously had no intention of letting Huang, the culprit, go, and charged towards where Huang was standing. Huang roared, and all his strength was transferred to his arms, and he clamped the giant elephant's tusk fiercely. Ah! The tusk was lifted up, and Huang pressed down. In the stalemate, a tooth-grinding crunch sounded, and a white tusk was broken off by Huang. The giant elephant, who was in great pain, didn't wait for Huang to dodge, and the thick trunk had already hit his chest. Huang's whole body was pulled into the air, and his internal organs seemed to be displaced, and a large mouthful of blood also spurted out like flowers scattered by a fairy. Fortunately, Huang had a strong body. If it were the other three, they would not have been able to save their lives. Just as the giant elephant was about to take advantage of the victory to pursue Huang, Zhu Xin's nebula chain entangled it again. The giant elephant's mental state was obviously a little sluggish, and it was breathing heavily, and its strength to break free was much less. Huang would certainly not let go of such an opportunity. He struggled to stand up, endured the pain in his body, and took out a giant bow that was almost as tall as him from the soul guide. He put 2 thumb-thick fine steel arrows on the giant bow. The bow was pulled to the extreme, and it groaned in pain. Swish! A whistling sound rang out, and the 2 fine steel arrows pierced through the leaves blocking the giant elephant's body and sank into the giant elephant's eyes. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Ah! The pain-unbearing giant elephant trammed the surrounding trees like crazy. The giant elephant, which had lost its sight, was covered with wounds after being harassed by Huang and Zhu Xin and attacked by Tian Chen. When Zhu Xin's nebula chain entangled the elephant's legs again, the elephant's trunk was cut off by Tian Chen, and another tusk was broken off by Huang. The giant elephant had no more strength to resist. Boss, Huang, who had been waiting nervously on the side, heard Huang's call and ran over excitedly. He held the sharp dagger with both hands and stabbed it into the tuft of white hair between the giant elephant's eyebrows. Puff! The moment the dagger was inserted, a stream of warm blood gushed out and instantly splashed on several people. The giant elephant no longer breathed, and a yellow soul ring slowly rose from its body. Tian Chen, Zhu Xin and Huang also collapsed on the ground. Boss, the brothers can only help you up to this point. The rest depends on you. Thank you, brother. Huang clasped his fists to everyone, and quickly sat cross-legged to absorb the soul ring at the best time. Excuse me, teacher. Li Ming came over, and Huang and the other two also closed their eyes to practice and recover. In this debut, the three were injured to varying degrees, but it made their cooperation more mature. Not long after the three woke up, Huang also absorbed the spirit ring. Congratulations, boss. Congratulations, congratulations. Huang jumped up and looked at everyone with a happy face. How does it feel to become a real spirit master? In one word, awesome. Boss, what is your first spirit skill? Show it to the brothers. This giant elephant is not only powerful in attack, but also in defense. Everyone is curious about what spirit skill Huang inherited. My first spirit skill is called War Trampling, which is the innate talent that the giant elephant used just now. Everyone within the control range of my spirit skill will bear my full force attack. And as my spirit power increases, the range of control of the spirit skill will become larger and larger. As he said, Huang summoned the golden diamond mammoth, which was nicknamed Diamond Elephant by Huang and others. In front of everyone, the yellow first spirit ring was instantly lit up. The body of the golden diamond mammoth behind Huang suddenly swelled to the size of an adult diamond mammoth. The long golden hair on its body was like a layer of armor made of gold threads. Huang, who was always careful, found that when Huang's martial soul changed, he actually felt a trace of pain from the shadow of the soul beast. He thought about it for a while and didn't know what was wrong. He was going to go back and ask his teacher Yang Wang to see what was wrong with Huang's martial soul. Sure enough, this soul skill was the same as the one used by the giant elephant. After a violent vibration, all the trees in the aperture of Huang's soul skill were overturned to the ground. Damn, it's true that stupid people have stupid luck. It's a group attack soul skill. Tang San, who was next to him, heard Huang's soul skill and showed an envious expression on his face. It's just so-so, just so-so. Hearing Tang San's words, Huang was also very humble, but his face showed a look of arrogance, which made Tang San and Zhu Xin want to go up and punch him. The mission of this trip was completed, and everyone did not waste any more time and turned to walk towards the outskirts of the soul-hunting forest. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.